Mariners spring training on Root Sports is presented by Magic Toyota, right on Highway 99 in Edmonds.
Last April, Ichiro brought baseball fans to their feet one more time when he clubbed this home run for the Miami Marlins.
Look at this! Ichiro with a home run!
In what many thought at the time would be his final at-bat at Safeco Field. But the Ichi meter is set to return.
それを this time coming here, being at Safeco Field, I just hope that the fans can say welcome home.
It is now official. Hello and welcome. I'm Angie Mentink alongside Dave Valley. Ichiro is back. Dave, you ready for this reunion?
It's going to be interesting to see what he has left for the Seattle Mariner fans, Ange.
Yeah, as expected, the Mariners did ink a one-year deal with Ichiro today to give them some help in the outfield. Here's GM Jerry Dipoto on his new addition.
And we feel like it's a good move for us, notably because of what Ichiro brings to us on the field, but also what he brings us in the clubhouse, what he brings us in presence, and frankly, what with a young group in the outfield, up to and including D, who has never played out there, despite the fact that he's been an all-star in the league. That is something where we feel like this veteran presence that Ichiro brings is huge for our club and our ability to step forward.
You know, when Jerry brought it to me, my first question was, does this help us win? And I certainly have an enormous amount of respect for what Ichiro has done in Seattle and throughout his career. I mean, unbelievable career he's had. But I think everybody within the organization felt where we're at right now, what he brings to our ball club helps us win. So that's where my focus is at, coaching staff and where we're at. And so bringing him in, what he can do on the field, still think we got plenty left in the tank there.
Well, this is a little surprising for me because of everything that we've seen the last few years of getting younger, getting a little bit more athletic. They bring in Ichiro at the age of 44 years old. Last year, he only had 215 at-bats, played a part-time role. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Mariners use him at this point, at the age of 44, in that outfield. I think they are counting on him to help have an impact on a lot of those young outfielders out there, including DGordon, as we heard Jerry Dipoto say that. So he could be a surprise. He has surprises before. He's a Hall of Fame player, but we shall see what he can do, Ange.
I'm a little confused. You acted like 44 was old. Don't do that. Don't do that. We've got more on Ichiro during tonight's broadcast, including DGordon and David Phelps, two of his former teammates who will reunite with the All-Star. Plus, more with Jerry Dipoto and Scott Service about Ichiro. Though I'm sure he wanted to play today, it's going to be a few days. Ichiro not in the lineup tonight. DGordon once again leads off, followed by Segura, Cano, and Cruz. Daniel Vogelbach is at first base, and Gordon Beckham, who's been hitting the ball really well, is at third base. Jarrell Cotton is on the mound for Oakland. Now, Marco Gonzalez has enjoyed, or had to have enjoyed, watching his Gonzaga Bulldogs win another WCC tournament title last night. He's going to make his third start of the spring this evening. So far, he has yet to allow a run in 5 innings of work. Marco takes the mound when we return.
From icons of the
Safeco.com. Do more. And by Fred Meyer. We give you a look at the Oakland lineup tonight, which features several regulars. Jake Smolinski will lead off. Matt Chapman is at third base with Chad Pinder at second. Bruce Maxwell starts behind the plate for Oakland. Meantime, Robinson Cano enters his 5th season in a Mariners uniform. By the way, also a former teammate of Ichiro in New York. Cano hit .280 last year with 23 home runs and a .791 OPS. He had 33 doubles. The 13th season he's topped that mark. While the Mariners will rely on veterans like Robinson Cano, they will also need to lean on some young players as well, like Jean Segura. So far this spring, he's been performing. Segura is hitting .308 with 2 home runs. So, Dave, for this team to get after it and for them to succeed, what do they need to get out of Segura?
They need Jean Segura to be Jean Segura. This guy knows how to swing the bat. He knows how to put the fat part of the bat on the ball. I don't know how else to say it in a more simple fashion. Regardless of where the ball is pitched, he knows how to hit it hard. We saw that last year, a lot of triples into that right center field gap. Last year, he had 157 hits in 125 games, hit 300. Year before that, he led the National League in hitting. So you start thinking about what it's going to look like on a nightly basis with having DGordon and Jean Segura at the top of your lineup. 2 guys who put the ball in play, 2 guys who get their hits, 2 guys who can run. There's going to be some exciting nights, Angie, at Safeco Field this summer.
Hey, a reminder that we want to know where you are watching tonight's game. Just use the hashtag #WhereIRoot when posting on social media, and by using that hashtag, you give us permission to use your photo on the air. Keep those photos coming, and we'll try to get them on. Chelsea sends this one in day 2 down in spring training. A little bit jealous. I'm a little jealous. You jealous, Dave?
Yes, that looks like a nice place to be sitting, right?
Exactly. Ryan sends this one in. Cutest fan at spring training. All right, the contest is on. And John sends this one in. Night game with Bush. All right, again, keep those photos coming and make sure you use that hashtag #WhereIRoot. We'll try to get your photos on the air. But right now, we'll get you down to Peoria, where those fans are, and connect with Dave Simpson, Mike Flowers. Guys?
Angie and Dave, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Good to have you with us here in Peoria. Cloudy all day, pleasant temperature. Temperature in the mid-70s at 74 degrees. So we get you ready for this Mariner tilt with the Athletics. The Mariners come in with a 5-6-1 record. A's 4-5-2. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers with you. Michael, your thoughts on Ichiro coming back to the ball club?
I think it's exciting news. Obviously, everybody was excited about it today. We heard the rumors of it yesterday. Today was a done deal. They had the press conference. I don't see how you can't be excited about it, especially when you consider some of the injuries that this club has had. To get a veteran guy in that is familiar with Seattle, obviously, going to be a Hall of Famer. I think it's all pluses. And I heard Jerry earlier today talking about what great shape he was in. His physical was terrific. All good signs for him, even though he's 44 years old.
Here's Marco Gonzalez, 3rd start of the spring. First pitch strike gets us underway against Jake Smolinski.
How about you? Surprised?
Yeah. And let's we'll look forward to seeing him in action. We'll talk to Scott Service coming up. See when Ichiro, when we can expect to see him on the field here. You know, he looked great. He was at the news conference today. Came over and said hello. He took questions and answers. He answered everything in Japanese. And he seemed pretty thrilled about being back here. As Matt Williams has to do a little dance out of the way, the third base coach. Great player in his day with the Giants, former Nationals manager.
Say Robbie was giving him a hard time too.
Yes, indeed. Al Padrique is the coach at first for the Athletics.
I would think that Ichiro will work out for 3 or 4 days and then maybe work his way slowly into some games.
There's a piece in ESPN, the magazine that's coming out. It sounds like he has never stopped working out. And interesting reading, just reading the first few paragraphs of that story. Mike Sweeney, remember when Mike was with us? Mike telling a story about a major leaguer walking through Central Park, and he sees this guy throwing a baseball 300 feet. Ground ball to Beckham. Off day, and it was Ichiro working out center field in Central Park.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but somebody asked him when the season was over, how much time does he take off before he starts working out again? And it seemed like it was a day, maybe 2.
Yeah, that's a lot. And I looked for
because most guys are going to take 2 weeks, maybe even a month. But for him, he just stayed with it.
I look forward to going to Rob Nodine and the training staff and see what his body fat numbers are, because at 44, I bet they're still around the 7, 8, 9% that we're used to seeing over the years as you look at Franklin Barreto.
Yeah, he'll be towards the top of the list in camp.
I think the only guy recently to beat him, I remember Rick Griffin telling me Goody beat him one year in body fat.
Yeah.
And not by much.
That's saying something, though.
Yeah. Marco Gonzalez, he's shown well in his first 2 appearances. 5 innings, 3 hits, no runs, a walk, 8 strikeouts. What's impressed you most about him?
Well, I think we talked about it earlier. His velocity is back. He'll be anywhere from 91 to 94 tonight. He has the great changeup. That's been his best pitch. But the cutter is a pitch that he wasn't able to throw last year coming off of Tommy John. And it's something that he's picked up again this spring, and that's really going to help his changeout a lot, especially to the right-handers. He can get the cut fastball in on their hands. And talking to Marco, the thing that I like talking to him this winter is just the amount of confidence he had and not worried about whether his arm was going to be okay and how healthy he was. He's ready to go. And he told me this winter, he goes, I'm just going to cut it loose. Everything feels great. And he's going to be really important to this club.
4-pitch walk to Barreto brings up Stephen Piscotty.
The other thing with Ichiro coming back, too, there's a number of guys on this club that he's familiar with, teammates, former teammates of his. That, so he's going to be pretty comfortable, I think, right away.
Played with Robbie Cano in New York, Phelps in New York, and in Miami. DGordon in Miami.
Of course, Felix. Kyle Seager.
Stephen Piscotty, former Cardinal. Things worked out in the baseball move that sent him home to Oakland. He's from Pleasanton, California. His mother, Gretchen, battling ALS. This will get over Robbie's head. Dunks it in. Barreto motoring. He's going to get the 3rd. So the A's making some noise here in the 1st inning. Base hit for Piscotty. Watch Robbie Cano here trying to deke the runner, but Barreto had it in his sights all the way.
May as well work on that too in spring training, right? Like a pretty good cut fastball. I don't think he missed his spot. An inside-out swing, was able to jam him a little bit, but fights it off into right field.
Double play in order here. See if they can turn it with Matt Chapman. Chapman 224, 14 homers, 40 runs batted in last year. The Athletics last place in the West, 75 and 87. One thing they did well last year, they hit home runs. They're 4th in the league. 11th in batting, 9th in runs, 11th in hits, 12th in ERA.
For Marco, this is his 3rd appearance of the spring. Coming into the game, 5 innings pitched, has not given up an earned run. Just 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Now 2 walks for him with the walk here in the 1st. So he's been impressive.
Slow roller. See if they can get 2. There's 1, and Segura with a hose over there to get the double play. 1st inning over, nicely turned by the Mariners. When we come back, DGordon's going to lead things off. Good to have you with us here in Root Sports.
We live in one of the most beautiful places on
have Mariner fans with us here. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers, Root Sports Crew. Mariners will have DGordon leading off against Jarrell Cotton.
Perfect night to watch baseball.
Yeah, it is. I'll tell you what, about an hour and a half ago, looking at the skies, looked like it was going to pour, but that's not going to be the case here tonight as you look at right-hander Jarrell Cotton, who was 1-1 in 3 games against the Mariners last year. Cotton on the 2017 season, 9-10, a 5.58 ERA. Young man from the Virgin Islands. Strike one to DGordon. It's been a good spring for him. 7 for 17. A double, a triple, and 1 for 1 in base stealing. He's got down several bunts.
And a couple of bunt base hits for him. His first stolen base in last night's game.
Pulls this one. Right to Marcano, 1 down. Bring up Gene Segura. Jarrell Cotton, nicknamed Squeaky, he's out of St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. Played his college ball at East Carolina. He's a Pirate. 26 years old. Here's Gene Segura. 4 for 13 so far in the spring. 2 of those hits, home runs.
We saw something in last night's ball game that we were probably going to see a lot over the course of the summer, and that was Gordon bunt base hit, steal second, and Segura hitting the ball hard to the right side to move him up. Had a chance to get a base hit, but the main thing is he moved DGordon up. He eventually scored. I think you're going to see that combination quite a bit this summer produce runs because fundamentally they do a lot of things right.
Cano came up with a base hit. He went the other way with it. The Mariners had an early lead. A productive out like that or base hits, it's going to work. And D's speed is just remarkable. Mariners 12-7 the last 2 seasons against the Athletics. 7-3 last year at home, 5-4 in Oakland. Sharply hit. The third baseman cuts it off. That's Chapman. Throws across the cannon. So 2 down. And that'll bring up future Hall of Famer Robbie Cano. 4 for 12 on the spring. 2 runs batted in. Home plate umpire is Shane Livensbarger with Brian Knight at first, Mike Malinsky to Tacoma Bourne. He's at second base, and Lance Barrett at third. Straight up in the infield for Robbie. First inning RBI last night and a ground out. So Robbie got a couple of at bats, also grounded out to shortstop.
Like a lot of veteran hitters here early in spring, hitting the ball the other way up the middle. As spring moves on, he'll start to pull the ball. Get closer to season, pull it with some authority. There's one right there.
That is a rifle shot. Base hit, 2 outs here in the first.
They're on a pretty good fastball, 92 miles an hour. Looked like it was up in the zone, probably above the belt. We'll take a look at the swing. Talking about him hitting the ball the other way. Set up on the inside corner. See if Codd's able to get it there. Yeah, it's on the corner. It's elevated. Most left-handers need the ball down, but that's not the case with Robbie. He can handle anything.
2 outs for Nelson Cruz. 0 for the spring so far. 0 for 12, a walk, 6 strikeouts. He's just getting close. Fouled it straight back.
Yeah, that's a better swing. He was on time with the fastball. That fastball at 93. Cotton stopped out at 94 so far.
2 years ago, Nelly started 0 for 17 in the spring, and all he did once the regular season started was hit 43 home runs. Oh, and 2 here. Daniel Vogelbach is on deck. Well, some interviews coming throughout the course of the evening. Jerry DiPoto a little bit later. Mike Ford, David Phelps, DGordon, Scott Service will be coming up in the second inning. Nice block by Maxwell. The catcher 1-2.
After a bunch of pretty good fastballs, he's starting to mix in his slider. Started Nelson off with the fastball, fouled it straight back, and it's been 2 breaking balls since then.
Slight breeze favoring the right side. Nelly steps out. First time seeing the Athletics. Nelly looks at pitch down low. Play at the Athletics a week from Thursday. Of course, we'll see him 19 times during the regular season. Full count to last year's American League RBI leader, Nelson Cruz, with 119. Cano takes off, and he did go. Maxwell throw down the first, complete the play, inning over. To the second inning here in Peoria on a very pleasant night. Spring training, Cactus League baseball.
The Timbers take on the Red Bulls Saturday at 4 on
Ichiro in the fold, back with back home, he said. Your thoughts and how you plan on using him?
No, exciting day. Obviously, everybody knows what Ichiro's done in the game, and more importantly, what he's done for the Mariners and the city of Seattle. So excited to have him back in the fold, and we'll get him out on the field tomorrow and let him work out for 3 or 4 days before we slide him into a game. But of course, Ichiro's in great shape. He's been working out, and he's ready to go.
Unfortunately, you have Haniger, who has been down, and Gamble, of course, is going to be out for a while. Just starting to get Heredia back. How often do you think Ichiro is going to play for you? I mean, he is 44 years old, still a terrific player, and has done a lot of things well, even last year with the Marlins. But how many times do you think he'll play?
I think we'll see how it comes out, on spring training. But right now, if I had to put a number on it, it's probably, 4 or 5 times a week, depending on he's going, depending on how the matchups line up, the schedule, day-night games. He's not going to run out there every day. I don't think that's fair to him or for our club. And, you want to keep Guillermo Heredia going if you get in a stretch of right-handed pitchers, just to kind of mix it up with G and give some other guys a day too. But with Gamble going down, there was a void. That was an opportunity to bring an Ichiro in, and we brought him in because we think he can help us win. That's the bottom line. It's what we're here for, and we'll see how it goes.
Had anybody, maybe scouts, had any eyes on him at all recently?
No, he was actually working out over in Japan, and I don't think any of our guys saw us when when it looked like Gamble was going to be out more than we originally anticipated, you start looking at some of the players that are out there and who we could bring in. When his name came up, my only question was, how do we feel about it and his ability to contribute in a winning club? We're not going to look at him to hit leadoff. We like DGordon at the top. We love our top of the order. But just need him to do his part, get on base and create some havoc on the bases, play good defense, and we know what he can do with the bat. So I think it's a good fit for us. When you do start him, where in the order are we talking about? I know that's one of your favorite things, lineup construction, but I think fans would be interested to know where you might be putting them. It's a very overrated topic. But no, he'll hit at the bottom of the lineup. Okay. I think we'll stay pretty consistent where we're at with the top. With D and Segura, Cano, Cruz, Seager, Haniger will be out here shortly. However it works out at the bottom, it's probably best to maybe put, Ichi and DGordon 9-1, and hopefully take advantage of what they do, creating havoc on the other team. Yeah, you bet. That makes a very interesting pair. It really does, and D's got a great relationship with him. Spent the last 2 years. That didn't sound good. Spent the last 2 years with him in Miami, so he knows him well. I think Ichi can help him out, with some of the stuff that comes up in the outfield play. So I think it'd be a big addition to our clubhouse as well. I think he is so routine oriented. I think it'd be good for our younger players to kind of see what he puts into his day, before he even gets on the field. So all those are real positives.
Can you talk a little bit about Marco Gonzalez on the mound today? He's really, his first couple of outings, I think, have gone as well as can be. And I was wondering, Scott, watching him in there in the first inning, gets in a little bit of trouble, but I believe it was a changeup, gets out of there with a nice ground ball for the double play. He could do some things to help you guys out this year. Really could. He's off to a good start this spring. He's working in all of his pitches, In the first inning, he got a little ground ball to the leadoff hitter on a cutter, a pitch that he didn't throw at all last year. He's working that into his repertoire, which is really effective against the right-handed hitters, widens the plate for him, so it makes his changeup more effective as well. So falling behind in the count a little bit tonight, which he didn't do his first 2 outings, but he's healthy. I love kind of where he's at right now. And, we acquired him thinking that this is the guy we're getting. Sometimes when you come to a new organization, you put a little pressure on yourself. You want to get off to a good start. And, he did some good things for us, but I think seeing him fully recovered, full year off the Tommy John surgery, we're seeing the real Marco Gonzalez. Got to be pretty excited knowing that as we move closer or deeper into this week, you got Haniger and Healy coming back. Really excited. Mitch, has been taking BP on the backfields the last 2 days. Feels really good. Probably get in a game maybe this weekend at some point. Kind of with Ichiro working out the next 3 or 4 days, get him in a game. Maybe early next week. Ryan Healy got a bat in his hand yesterday for the first time. Not taking BP yet, but just in the cage, trying to get the feelings back in there. So Healy will be a little bit behind Haniger and getting Ichiro on the field, but we're getting closer. You'll see Guillermo Heredia in the starting lineup tomorrow. So we'll put him out there for defense. He's had a couple at bats just in the DH spot. So getting all of our guys together, I'm looking forward to having the whole crew out there soon. I know that you were there today, say at the news conference with Ichiro. You had to leave to get ready for practice and get that going. But later on, I guess after you left, conversation came up about Ichiro and Ohtani. He looks forward to hitting against Ohtani and wants to pitch to him. Doesn't surprise me. I think Ichiro will take anything on. He has that kind of mindset, but it'll be interesting. We don't play the Angels, I think, until early May. We'll see how both clubs are lining up at that point, but certainly a lot of interest there, and a lot of people in Japan looking forward to that. Scott, just in general, how has spring gone for your team so far? And in this middle third, what do you want to see from the guys? Well, that pickoff play there, look at that throw. Oh, my. Wow. Great. Yeah, whoever thinks DGordon can't win a Gold Glove, it's going to be really fun to watch. That was awesome. Didn't execute the pickoff the way we wanted to, but something we spent a lot of time practicing this spring, and I'm glad to see our guys are putting it on. But and he was backing up for somebody that hasn't been out there. I'm telling you, his baseball IQ, his instincts are off the chart. And having played in the middle of the field his whole career, he understands the importance of those little things. So that was awesome to see. Really, really good sign there. Pretty much grew up in a clubhouse, been around baseball all his life. You gotta love having guys like that, right? Really, it makes a difference. Guys just. They have a routine. They understand the ins and outs of the grind that you go through in a complete season. And, he knows how to play, and he's very talented. So, off to a good start with him in center field, no doubt. Well, I'm glad you were with us to see that one. Scott, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. No problem, guys. Enjoyed it. Take care. All right, take care. When we come back, Daniel Vogelback will lead off for the Mariners here in the second inning.
I remember growing up in Puyallup and thinking,
Pierre, these lovebirds showing off out in the berm here at Peoria Stadium. Somebody in the back just say, get a room. Here's Daniel Vogelbach. Second baseman, Chad Pinder, goes him out. That was a great throw by DGordon.
I just like the fact that when the throw was being made into second base, you could see him in center field, and immediately he started closing ground on it before it was ever by the infielders. That's not an easy thing to do when you've played second base in your career and all of a sudden you're going out to center field. We know he's a great athlete, and we've seen him make some catches in both alleys and going back up against the fence. But to charge the ball like that and then to make the strong throw, accurate throw, it was a lot of fun to watch.
Great footwork. And directionally got himself pointed in the right direction.
Yeah,
came over the top.
Up. Yeah, wasn't in a hurry, didn't rush it.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
He's looked really comfortable.
Textbook, it really was. There's David Freitas to the catching tonight. So Jarrell Cotton got a career mark of 11 and 10, a 4.95 ERA. For Freitas, 3 for 11 on the spring. No walks, 3 strikeouts. Battling with Mike Margman, trying to win the backup spot to Mike Zunino. Zunino, if you weren't with us last night, wow, did he wallop one onto the berm. Left field, left center field. Thing was touched, and you know it was gone immediately. 1-2 pitch. Got Maxwell.
Oof. Right in that little gap. And the shin guard's on, and when they squat down, the shin guards will separate, and there's typically a little bit of gap in there. It's amazing over the course of the summer how many times the baseball finds that gap. That was an awesome home run by Mike last night. I'd like to see him hit one over the entire pavilion. I think he can do it. Just hit it over everything.
Ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2. Some of the familiar faces, the A's, Chris Davis, Marcus Semien, not here tonight. Here's 2-2. Swing and a miss, good breaking ball. 2 outs, second strikeout for Cotton. And make sure you get on board for the 2018 season as a Mariners season ticket holder. Whether looking to spend quality time with family and friends or to have more face time with your employees and clients, Mariners season tickets provide unmatched value and versatility. Visit mariners.com/18 for more info. There's Junior Lake in right field tonight. 4 for 17, hitting at .235. Like I said, breaking ball. As I watch Gordon, it reminds me of DGordon's dad, Tom Gordon. I mean, it's similar breaking ball that he's throwing.
Yeah, he had a hard curveball that he used to throw, a 12-6 curveball. He could throw it for a strike and he could bury it. Also had a pretty good fastball. He was in the mid-90s with his fastball. Gordon throwing hard tonight. Again, he's 93, 94.
He's ahead of Junior Lake. Shading towards right center for Junior. 0-2 pitch. And got him to chase. Maxwell will throw down. Another strikeout for Cotton. He struck out 3 of the last 4 men that he's faced. No scores. We go to the 3rd.
Spring is coming, and that means it's time to get
Arizona. Mariner first baseman Mike Ford joins us right now. Rule 5 pickup from the Yankees back in December. How's life as a new Mariner and playing first base? How's it working out for the pride of Belmead, New Jersey?
It's going great. It's a great organization. Glad to be here.
What's the thing you've learned the most about being here with this group and blending in?
You know, it's a great group of, you know, a lot of guys that have been around the game for a really long time. So you just pick their brain about everything, and yeah, it's been awesome.
And you've seen your share of left-handers, huh?
Yeah, I think like 15 at bats have been off lefties already. So no, it's good early on. I mean, you know, swing's getting there. So it's good to see them early.
Mike, it looks like you're getting more comfortable. Hit a home run, and it looks like your takes are getting better for you. Things starting to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, completely. You know, first few games were a little sped up, but you know, first big league spring training too. So with a new club is you know,
there's a lot.
Something to get over. Yeah, but yeah, definitely. You know, letting the game kind of slow down a little bit for me.
Yeah, it was funny. It was a few days ago, maybe even a week. We were talking to Jerry DiPoto, and it was another one of those games that Dave mentioned. You were in the lineup, and there was another left-hander out there, and Jerry was actually laughing about it too. So I'm glad things are turning around a little bit for you. That's a rough way to start.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, but I'm you know, still confident. You know I can get the job done.
So you did a little of everything when you were at Princeton. Played a little third. You did a little pitch. What was that experience like playing for the Tigers?
It was great. You know, Coach Bradley was, I knew him really well throughout my whole life. And then, you know, to be able to go there, get the education, and be able to do both, hit and pitch. I didn't really know which one would take me to the next level, so being able to do both was really great.
And playing first base, no problems over there?
No, it's been great. You know, the Yankees did a great job making me a better infielder, and that's one thing they really stressed to me. So I appreciate their help there on that.
You went to Princeton University. You grew up a little bit north of Princeton University. As a kid growing up, who was your team?
Yankees. Yeah.
All right. So you must be thrilled playing with Cano then, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was a guy that I watched all the time. He makes everything look easy. So it's pretty awesome getting to look to the right and see him on the field with us.
The other day when I mentioned it to you, you know, those balls to your right, he's got it pretty much covered, doesn't he? You don't have to make too much of an extension on those ground balls, right?
Yeah, the one I had to get used to it. The one I went after, and I was like, oh man, he's got it. Called me off of it right away. So it's been an adjustment that way too, but definitely he's got that side covered.
What are you looking forward here in the middle part of camp right now? We talked about things slowing down. You're starting to pick things up offensively. What do you want to do here in the middle?
You know, just play my game. You know, exactly what you said. Slow the game down and you know, show what I can do when I'm relaxed, and that's the main thing. And yeah, we're getting there. The swing's getting there. Defense, I think, has been pretty good. So yeah, just continue to work offensively and, you know, get back to what I know I can do.
What do you think about all these night games?
I love it, honestly. I think it's a great thing to have in spring training. You know, it's the schedule of the season, so why not get on it now?
Do you find most of the guys agree with you on that?
Yeah, definitely. I think the Saturday into Sunday morning was a little tough, but for some guys. But you know, especially because it's only about 2 weeks in. But you know, these 3 in a row have been pretty nice for everyone coming off the off day too.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, thanks for your time, man. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Continued success.
Yep. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Ground ball, nice diving play. Gordon Beckham, what a spring he's had. Throws out Jake Smolinski, and Marco Gonzalez goes 1, 2, 3 in the third. When we come back, Beckham's going to lead things off.
For the best in live music,
Beckham leads off here in the third. He's got 10 hits on the spring. 10 for 17, 588.
It was great to talk to him the other day. He talked about that, off to a great start, and says just trying to put the ball in play, not doing too much or overthinking it. Trying to win the utility job on this club. Just saw him make a diving play at third to end the last inning, and really swinging it well.
Pretty good competition here for that utility spot between he and Romine and Motter. Romine hitting at 389. Motter's at 273 and Beckham at 588.
And you get the feeling that that decision will not be made till the end of camp.
Minimal breeze here at Peoria Stadium. Cotton shown a good breaking ball. He struck out the last 3 men that he's faced. 4 of the last 5.
Well, you mentioned the Mariners saw him last year, and we've seen him when he's able to locate his fastball and throw strikes, and he has a good fastball. Again, 93 to 94 tonight. And then he starts to throw his slider. He'll get some hitters to chase it. And we've seen that tonight.
Here's Ian Miller, the Ken Griffey Jr. minor league hitter of the year for the Mariners. 307, 4 homers, 35 runs batted in, 43 stolen bases. His combined numbers in 143 games at AA and AAA. Four for 15 on the spring. Knocked in 5 runs.
And there's a good breaking ball again.
Is he turning into Lance McCullers Jr. on us? Check swing foul. It's amazing the regularity that McCullers can throw and they consistently get it over for strikes.
Yeah, you have to wonder how long that's going to continue. He's had some health issues, and you have to wonder if they're going to talk to him about. It's a great pitch, and it's one of the best in the business, but it has to take a toll on your arm throwing it as often as he does, and he has a good fastball.
Well, they could go 7 deep in that rotation. One and 2. Houston, defending world champions, the team to beat in the American League, and more specifically the American League West. One out, nobody on 1 and 2 here to Miller. Two and 2. Ichiro signs with the Mariners today. Tremendous showing of Japanese media today. A lot of fans are out here 1 o'clock, actually even earlier than that, hoping to get a glimpse of him. Strikeout. There's another strikeout for Cotton. He is on a roll. It's 2 down. 5 strikeouts, 4 consecutive. Host a picnic at the park for your next group outing at Safeco Field. Select from one of 7 unique group hospitality spaces and customize your experience with food and beverage packages, private bartenders, and more. Plan your picnic right now, mariners.com/groups. DGordon, fabulous defensive play, backing up an errant pickoff attempt. And he throws out Marcana at third base. He's in the 2nd inning. And you'd never know he's a converted shortstop and converted second baseman. Looked like he'd been playing center field all his life.
Well, now, no, he has a strong arm. We talked about it at the beginning. He stole his first base of the spring in last night's ball game, and throws out a runner here tonight.
He's not going to walk a heck of a lot. He's up there swinging. Let's pitch up high. He led the National League in hits 2015 with 205. 58 stolen bases that year. 3 times led the National League in stolen bases. 2-1. Pretty good wood on that one. Staying in the yard. Center fielder tracking. Fowler's there, makes the play. And Mariners are gone in the 3rd. Jarrell Cotton putting up some good numbers through 3 innings with 5 strikeouts, 4 of them consecutive in a scoreless ballgame.
Have you heard about Bruce Titus Car Guide?
Today, the Mariners made it official, folks. Ichiro is once again a Mariner, and we heard from him at the top of the broadcast. Right now, we go down to Mike Blowers and get his take. What were your thoughts when you heard this was in the works?
Well, I think it's a positive for the Mariners to be able to get this done. And unfortunately, it's because of injury again. We've talked about Haniger, who hopefully will be on the field soon. Gamble is going to be out for a while. Heredia is just starting to go. It sounds like it's going to be a situation to where for Ichiro at this point in his career, he's going to play 3, 4, 5 times a week, so not every day. I think that the good news with that is it's something that he was also doing in Miami. So this isn't a big change for him. He's used to that now. He knows what he's going to be doing here. He's probably, I haven't seen him in a few years, but probably I'm going to guess still a plus outfielder. And if he's going to be in left field, obviously he'll be able to handle that without any issue. So for me, I just don't see where the downside is here. You have a veteran guy, an all-time great Mariner for sure, a Hall of Famer, and he knows what he's doing out there and how to prepare, and he looks terrific. So I just don't see how this can't be a positive for the Mariners, especially when you consider the injuries that they've had. And Val, I have to ask you too. You know, for me, I think it sounds like we already talked to Scott earlier in the ball game that they're going to manage that situation pretty well with him. It's going to be a few days before we see him out here, but I'm excited to see what he's able to do.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing to me that at the age of 44 that he's still playing and that the Mariners clearly have the need because of the injuries that you mentioned. But, you know, here's a guy, he really hasn't played every day for a number of years, since probably the first year that he was with the Miami Marlins. But the one thing, Blow, as you get older in this game, right, you become smarter. You start to realize some of your limitations that you maybe didn't have when you were 25. And you start to accept a role that's maybe lessened, and maybe you're not playing every day, but you're playing 3 or 4 times a week. And, you know, as you said, they're going to manage that situation. If they feel like he's starting to get a little bit too tired, a little bit more run down, they'll give him a day off here and there. But, you know, again, he's a guy that has surprised many, many people for many years. He's a Hall of Fame player in the game of baseball. He'll be a future Mariner Hall of Famer. And I think also with the veteran part that we were talking about, you start to, you know, we heard Jerry DiPoto talk about influencing the young outfielders. I don't know if I know of anybody, maybe other than Edgar Martinez, who had a better preparation per night every day than Ichiro had while he was here in Seattle. I mean, this guy never gets hurt. He's always prepared physically and mentally to go out there, and he was always very focused. So if any of that can rub off on some of these young outfielders, it absolutely will be a positive.
Yeah, I think that you're absolutely right. It's a great point. Just the consistency of what he does on a day-to-day basis to be prepared. And then you look at the longevity of his career. That's something for a lot of these young players. If they decide that they want to play as long as they possibly can, that's a pretty good model for them. And obviously the organization will get the benefits from that. The other thing too, Val, I was thinking about it, and I know I did a little bit myself, but for Ichiro, and you mentioned a lot of pinch hitting for him last year, really knows where he's at. If he's in a situation, especially early in the season with this ball club, and Gamble is not around and he's going to play, and even if they push him because of need for 3 or 4 days, he's probably at a point which is different than when you're in the middle of your career because you're fighting to get in the lineup every day, but he's probably at a point to where he'll even go to Scott and say, hey, Skip, you know, I need a day or for whatever reason. And so it's not all on Scott. I think you could trust him also. When he asks him where he's at, he'll tell you the truth.
Yes, and for the veteran guys, they're going to get that benefit of the doubt from the manager, where the manager will ask them, hey, how you feel today? Do you need a day off? When you're 24 years old, nobody's asking, hey, do you want a day off? Because you're going to go out there. But as we get older and our bodies start to wear down a little bit easier, it's much easier for a veteran guy. Clearly, Ichiro, with the status that he has in this game, I think 10 All-Stars, 10 Gold Gloves, an MVP. Yeah. If he went in, it's not like he's going to be trying to Jake out there. He's going to like, hey, Coach, I really do need a blow here today.
Yeah, I will say this, though, at the same time, guys, as we get it back to Dave Sims, one thing that you can say about Ichiro throughout his career is the guy doesn't take a lot of time off. The guy has always been healthy. He takes incredible care of his body. I think the only time he was ever on the DL in his career was for an ulcer.
Yeah, he's remarkable, and that's going to be something we'll be following, and we look forward to watching him in his regimen, his pre-at-bat stretch, seeing him in the clubhouse and the stretching that he does. It's helped him, to last this long in his career, which is absolutely remarkable to still be a frontline guy at 44 years old. Marco Gonzalez tried to pick off. Ball got away. So runner at second here, 1 out, 2-1 pitch coming up to Matt Chapman, third baseman for the A's, who bounced into a double play his first time.
We talked a lot about Marco, and he's really thrown the ball well here in the spring. And the ball's gotten away from him a couple of times trying to throw to second, and that last one to first. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's on one of the backfields doing some extra work on his pickoff plays. That's what spring training is about.
2-1 pitch. Hit well, right field, backing up Junior Lake on the track there to make the catch. The runner had got all the way to third. See if they can get him. And they do.
Great play and right.
Piscotti doubled up at second. Well done by Junior Lake. Hit the cutoff man. Cano to Segura. Inning over.
Tomorrow at 5:30, the Mariners battle the Giants on Route
Plays turned by the Mariners, and this one was really well done. Junior Lake got it started.
Yeah, you work on it every morning on the backfields, but the catch is one thing, but they come up right away, hit the cutoff man in Cano, and a perfect throw to second base to Segura to get the double play and get out of the inning. Well done all the way around.
And here is Mr. Segura. 2, 3, and 4. Segura, Cano, and Cruz. Mr. Cotton has featured a really effective breaking ball here tonight. Strike one. Gene, first time up, grounded out to third.
Looking at that play by Lake, coaches will be thrilled with that. Cutoffs and relays in the morning, paying off right there.
Earl Cotton, 26 years old, out of St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. Did a lot for hurricane relief during the offseason. 1-1. Hit hard. That's a fair ball down the line. Extra bases for Segura. Smolinski dig it out in the corner. And Gene will hold the leadoff double. His first double of the spring. His 5th hit.
We talked about him being an aggressive hitter, high fastball, more towards the middle of the plate. They tried to get it in on his hands. He finds the way to get the barrel to it, an easy double for him.
Cano with a hard base hit to right field his first time up. That was in the first inning with 2 outs. First runner to second base for the Mariners tonight. Ball 1. Nice stop by Maxwell. Ichiro, big story here with the Mariners, and his, boy, you look at his numbers. His first from 2001 to 2010, made the All-Star team. He's got, in terms of hits and at bats and games played, a lot of numbers in black.
All-Stars, Gold Gloves, you name it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years in a row, 200 or more hits. Big year, 262. Back in the 04 season. We'll get the runner over. As Pinder takes care of Cano. So runner at third with one out.
You know, it's been fun to watch, especially over the last week. And Robbie's trying to drive that run in. It looked like he probably hit that fastball towards the end of the bat a little bit. But with a 2-0 count, he went out over the plate to make sure he found something that he could pull so that if he makes it out, he moves the runner out. And we've seen that quite a bit. Good fundamental baseball here over the last week or so.
You can see it's appreciated by his teammates down in the dugout.
That's a situation where he's not giving himself up. He's trying to drive that run in, which is what Scott wants him to do, but he makes a productive out. Infield in for the A's. Pretty good changeup.
Not an envious position for infielders. Infield up, Nelson Cruz.
Start talking about exit velocity again, Dave.
Second only to Aaron Judge last year.
Yeah.
And here comes Segura. He's in safely. He get a piece of.
I don't think so. I think
he just is
when he stopped. Yeah, when he stopped, maybe he turned an ankle.
Yep, that's what happened.
Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, he went to go with the brakes.
Yeah, watch him when he gets towards home plate. Maxwell looks like he was going to throw it to him, and then right there.
Ooh, did you see the left ankle?
Yeah,
oh my goodness. Yeah. That was. Those days when you're going up for rebounds, Mike, and he come down and.
I remember him.
Right.
Yep.
Wow, that was ugly.
Yeah. And then it looked after he twisted. He tried to stop abruptly.
Right.
To plant that foot because he was in home plate where Segura was sliding, and that probably didn't help the issue at all. Back to his feet. Maybe he can walk it off.
I hope he can. He's throwing a nice game. They always have a 1-0 lead. Now, if he's out there, obviously he wouldn't be out there. But if he had sneakers on there, he could have slid. It wouldn't have, wouldn't have been the same. Been a problem. That's oh man. Hope he can walk it off.
I think sometimes, too, you can feel it start to turn, and it scares you more than what actually happened because you're not sure until, you take inventory of what's going on. And sometimes it'll get stuck right there. You can see it slide, and maybe he was able to get it up out of the ground just in time before he rolled it all the way over.
And he's thinking, I'm throwing a nice ball game here. Come on, I got some strikeouts, the curveball's working, and now I do this. Kidding?
We'll see what he can do. They're not going to take any chances with him. So if he stays in this game, then he feels okay. Any issue at all, they'll take him out of the game here in spring training. And that was his left ankle, right? Landing foot.
Man, oh man.
This will probably be his last inning.
Right. Doesn't appear to be favoring. He's good to go. Good
no,
for
but
him.
they don't want him to go in and sit on the bench either. I'm sure that they'll wrap it up, put some ice on it once he gets off the field.
It's good to see. But you're right. It's that you're right in the middle of it. You feel that pain. You're going, seriously? I just did this?
Yeah. We play sports. We've all been there, right? You know.
Oh, man.
It scares you more than what actually happened.
Yes, indeed. 1-1 to Nelly. Still looking for his first hit of the spring. He's 0 for 13. Still got the good breaking ball. And 2. Two hits for both teams. Mariners lead 1-0 on the wild pitch. Scored Segura. 1-2 to Cruz. Count goes to 2-2.
Might be it for Marco Gonzalez. Mark Zepchinski getting loose in the pen for the Mariners. Another left-hander.
That is a foul ball. Mariners will see the Athletics for the first time in the regular season. Will be at home in Seattle. Weekend series in April 13, 14, and 15. They'll be right back first week of May. May 1, 2, and 3. Nelly to center field and deep. And run down by Fowler. It's a good sign that he got pretty good wood on it. 2 outs, and it'll bring up Daniel Vogelbach.
Daniel grounded out his first time up.
Hit an impressive home run Friday over in Maryvale.
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
2-1 count and got all of it. Fastball up, pulled it, and got it well up on the berm, right field. It was one of those ones that, you know, if you had turned your head and you'd heard it, you said, oh, that ball's gone. That was well struck. And they're running pretty well here. Gets a second with a 2-out double. So second double of the spring, hit number 6 for him.
This is the third time I've seen him in the lineup playing this spring. And the one thing that I've noticed from him, you mentioned the home run to right field. The pitch is running off the plate, maybe even a ball off the outside corner. He just goes with it, but is being much more aggressive than what we've seen. And that's something that I really like to see. It's something they want to see from him. Get up there, swing the bat. And it's paying off for him so far this spring.
Last year, remember, we saw him and he was eyeballing a lot of pitches, and
I think it was in Baltimore when you and I were talking about that.
Right, in the regular season,
Yeah.
but I was thinking more specifically about the springtime. He seemed to be taking a lot of pitches, and I'm thinking, I'm looking at that body, dude, swing the bat.
Right. And that's something that they wanted to see too, and just be a little more aggressive. We're seeing that in the spring. He's looking for a fastball that he can handle.
David Freitas, see if we can get him home with 2 outs. Freitas struck out at a 2-2 pitch his first time up. That hit by Vogelbach, the 3rd of the evening for the Mariners. Freitas out of Wilton, California, 6'2", 240. Was with Atlanta for 6 games last year, 235, no homers, 2 runs batted in. High fly ball, right field. And making a play toward the line is Piscotty, and that'll do it. Mariners get a run on the board, 2 hits, no errors, and a man left. We've played 4 here in Peoria, 1-0 Seattle.
Spring is coming, and
Athletics. Oh, was that a competition? Guy on the right. Well, he wins. You know, folks, you like the way things are stacking up in a lot of different categories for this Mariners team. No doubt about it. Offensively, you like this lineup. Defensively, they are better than the guy on the left juggling. The thing that you have to wonder about is the starting rotation, the bullpen. So many talented arms out there, but the starting rotation has the most question marks, no doubt about it. You wonder, where are these guys going to go in each direction? And specifically, Mike, I want to ask you about James Paxton and what is next for this guy, if healthy.
Right. Well, that's been the big question for James, unfortunately, and some of it has been leg issues and the baseball getting him back on his forearm. There's some things that have been out of his control. Some of it he's been able to fix, I think, and taking better care of himself. He looks terrific. Obviously, the talent is there. You know, you look at his season last year and the run that he was on. He won 7 games in a row, was as dominant as anybody in the American League. And at times you'll see his fastball in that 97 to 100 mile an hour range. And it's just one of those things. He's just so rare. You just don't see it. And Val, I think when you have the combination of stuff that James has, and he seems to me, and I think this is where it's really rare, especially in today's game, he seems to get stronger and throw harder the later in the game that he gets, and that's something you just don't see anymore.
Yeah, I think when we take a look at his season last year, when he got off to that incredible start, there was a couple of things that I noticed that was different about him from the year prior. I saw his focus and his intensity was definitely different the way he was approaching it. He was a little bit more animated out there, and I think that really suited him well. I think he was starting to embrace the fact that he was becoming the ace of this staff. As far as stuff, he's got the stuff of an ace, and we saw that last year. He demonstrated it. He made 24 starts, but throughout his career, the issue has been, can he take that ball every 5 days for a 6-month period? And that's what the Mariners are hoping he'll be able to do this year.
Yeah, and I think for him, I think that he's ready to take that step forward. There's some things that you can't control. I talked about earlier, the line drive off of his forearm. But as far as the other things go, I think he's done everything that he possibly can to set himself up to where he can make all of his starts. But I think, Val, the one thing that's interesting about James, and I really noticed this about him over the last couple of years, is when you talk to him about his pitching, he's always talking about his mechanics. He really analyzes and watches a lot of film on himself. I heard him today on the radio side. He was talking about a couple of things he was working on in the bullpen mechanically. How unusual is that, or is that the norm, especially for somebody that throws as hard as he does?
I think it's becoming the norm, Blow, in the way the game has evolved over the last 15 years, where guys are really taking advantage of technology and some of the information that they're being given. Back when you and I were playing, we didn't have access. We used to have the slow motion replays with Carl in the back. That was about all we had. Now they're able to do all of those different analyses. And for the guys that are looking at it, they can make some strides forward if they're willing to apply it. And I think it's great to see a young guy still having a desire to get better, finding out, is there a way I can get better? Is it mechanics moves? And we saw that with him last year, right? He drops down just a little bit, and all of a sudden he gained about 3 to 4 miles an hour on his fastball. So I tip my hat to those guys that are continually searching for, how can I be a better pitcher or a better hitter in a lot of cases as well.
Last thing for me, Val, for you, and I've said it many times, I think that if he can make his 30, 32 starts, I think he has a real opportunity to be in that Cy Young Award conversation. What do you think?
He's special. You know, he went through that run last year. I think it was 6 starts in a row, 6-0, but he's got the stuff of an ace. He's got the stuff of a Cy Young Award winner. There's no doubt in my mind. He demonstrated it last year, and you know, if he can get that ball every 5 days, we're going to be having some fun nights at Safeco Field watching James Paxton perform.
You guys think about, you know, back in the olden days, that you had to make adjustments like through body awareness. And to your point, Dave, and we'll get it back to Dave Sims. You know, nowadays, the luxury you have in being able to watch things frame by frame, you can make those adjustments so much faster.
It's almost like every breath is documented, and they get information out of it and learn something and use it to your advantage.
He's not kidding either. That is so true in today's game. 2
balls, 2 strikes to Bruce Maxwell, catcher for the A's.
I find it interesting looking at that look right there. James sitting in the middle of 2 outfielders on both sides of him.
Yeah, right.
And they're going to gamble.
Strike 3 called. How about Zimchinski? Couple strikeouts, both looking a 1-2-3 fifth. Bottom third of the order. When we come back, Junior Lake will lead off for the Mariners.
Mariners Spring Training on Root Sports is presented by Dunn Lumber, building success together.
Welcome back. Right now, the Mariners still lead it 1-0 down in Peoria. A reminder that we want to know where you are rooting on. Your Seattle Mariners, and Linda apparently down there in Peoria enjoying her first game of spring training. Keep those photos going, and we will try to get them on the air. All right, Gerald Cotton's day is done. It looked like his ankle was fine because he continued pitching, but we've got a new A's pitcher. Dave?
Yeah, he walked off, no problem about Jarrell Cotton. Happy for him. 4 innings of 3-hit, 1-run ball, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. Taking over Chris Bassett, 6'5", 220-pound right-hander. Young man from Toledo, Ohio, 29 years old. Be his 3rd campaign with Oakland last year in 5 starts, 0-2 with a 6.11 ERA. Appeared in 5 games. Junior Lake, his first hitter. Junior struck out on an 0-2 pitch back in the 2nd inning. And actually for Bassett, those numbers from the 2016 season. Outside 3-0. Bassett was on the DL last year. UCL ulnar collateral ligament reconstruction surgery. Spent the entire season in the minors. Went 0-1, a 2.77 ERA in 7 games, all starts at Single-A Stockton. He goes 4-2, 17 games, 2 starts at AAA Nashville. Ground ball to the 3rd baseman, Chapman. Junior Lake hustling down the line. They just get him. So 1 away. Bottom of the 5th is brought to you by Heritage Distilling, BSB Brown Sugar Bourbon. You can't spell baseball without BSB. Good to have you with us on a just wonderful night here in Peoria. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers, Root Sports crew. We're going to hear from Jerry DiPoto, general manager of the Mariner Ball Club. Talk more about Ichiro, and hope to hear from DGordon and David Phelps as well. Gordon Beckham struck out on a 1-2 pitch his first time up. 10 for 18, most hits on the ball club here in the spring.
Having a great spring. Trying to get that utility job. Mentioned David Phelps. He is getting loose in the bullpen. So it looks like he will pitch the top of the 6th.
Two-0 pitch. 3-0. Beckham's father-in-law, Scott Fletcher, 15 years in the big leagues. His father, Gordon, quarterback at South Carolina. Back in 80-82, Gordon, just ask him, our proud Georgia Bulldog. 11 games with the Mariners last year, 176 batting average. 3-1. He's aboard with a free pass. One out, one on. Here in the Mariners' 5th, a 1-0 lead. Ian Miller, second time up, he struck out his first time. Gordon Beckham has a stolen base to his credit as well. Strike one to in.
You mentioned the surgery for Bassett, missing most of last year. Looks like his fastball is in pretty good shape. That's all he's thrown so far is his fastball. He's been right around 92 miles an hour. Maybe he's mixed in a changeup. That's about it.
.5:30 in the Northwest tomorrow. We'll be on the air. The Giants will be here in Peoria. Then we'll see the Giants on Friday over in Scottsdale. That game will be on radio. Miller behind here, 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. 101st pitch. Miller can run. And pulled him off the bag. Throw from Barreto, so the Mariners have a couple of men aboard. That sets it up for DGordon.
Well, Dave mentioned he can get down the line, probably rush the throw a little bit. Definitely pulls him off the bag. Good hustle by Miller.
4th hit for the Mariners. A run on 4 hits, 1 error. Athletics, no runs, 2 hits, no errors. Here's D. Ground out the first, fly to center, 0 for 2. Breaking ball for strike. There's one wide open stance that DGordon has. Calls time. But very good base stealer through the course of his career. That pitch up high. Get a whole bunch of catchers and pitchers to learn coming over from the National League.
That's a very good point. And we were talking about earlier with all the equipment and all the analytics and everything else that go on, you'll catch up quickly.
Ball and 2 strikes. Come down to spring training, make sure you come down to the backfield and watch these guys. And watch D during batting practice. He's out there shagging everything pretty much that's hit. Really build up a nice comfort level as he transitions into a center fielder.
Well, that's the thing that's been impressive to me. It's not easy to play the outfield here in Arizona in the springtime. The high skies, the sun, the wind typically. And he looks comfortable catching fly balls. He gets a pretty good jump on it. Obviously the great speed.
Slow roller. And Pinder's able to throw him out. Runners move up with 2 outs.
He made that close play.
Didn't he?
I'm sure Pinder thought the same thing.
Really?
Looked like it was fairly routine, and he looked up. DGordon was flying down the line. There it is. Put a little extra on it.
Exaggerated follow through. Like, holy mackerel, what happened?
Yeah, better finish this one.
Man,
a lot of fun to watch.
It is a difference maker. Here's Segura. Doubled down the left field line, scored on a wild pitch in the 4th. Ball 1. What was it that made Elvis Andrus buckle like that twice in 1 year? Remember that? Let's see, where were we? 18. That would have been probably the 15 or 16 season. And somebody threw a, oh, I know. Was it Nuno? I think he threw a breaking ball. But it could have been Nuno because Nuno was left-handed.
Yeah.
It was a right-hander.
I'm trying to think.
And remember, it happened once at their place and once at our place. And Elvis, the ball came at him, and he just bailed, and the ball broke over the plate for a strike. I'm trying to remember.
If it was Tom Wilhelmsen.
It might have been. I think it probably was Tom, right?
Yeah.
And then Elvis did the quickest dive.
And Tom was throwing 97 too.
Right.
Yeah.
So he sees this baby coming right at him. Now I'm out. See it.
Almost immediately out of his hand.
Oh man. I remember that. That was funny. I mean, it was so bad Elvis was even laughing about it.
Well, you know, he was hearing it from Beltre.
Oh, yeah. Chance to pick up 2 with a big 2-out knock here for Gene Segura.
Good outing by Mark Zepchinski, by the way. Just 1 inning of work, couple of strikeouts for him.
They're going to have a left-hander. 1.23 ERA in the first half of the season. And then the second half, ERA blew up. Last 26 outings, he had a 4.15. And at one point, it was at 14.73 in a bad stretch. Get him back. So that first half effectiveness will be a big help to the club. 2-2. Breaking ball, swinging a miss. 2 stranded. We've played 5. Mariners lead 1-0. Currams Puyallup Nissan. Car buying as easy as Sunday morning, and by Steel. To find your local Steel dealer, visit steeldealers.com. The Sandy Roads here in Arizona, 1-0. Mariners lead. Gene Segura scored on a wild pitch after doubling in the fourth. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers, Root Sports Crew. Here's David Phelps.
Good to see him on the mound. 1 inning so far in the spring.
4-5 last year, 21 holds, 54 games with Miami and the Mariners, 2-1 with Seattle, 3 holds. He was pitching really well. Then he had to have surgery to remove a bone spur in his right elbow on September 13th. And he's a very good bridge guy. Had been a starter with the Yankees. And right around the time he was lost for the season, things started to go to get away from the Mariners. They were hanging tough in spite of all the injuries. Everybody knows about that.
Yeah, it turned out to be exactly what Jerry DiPoto was looking for. Scott Service as well. And you mentioned the bridge guy. Can pitch multiple innings for you. Pretty good slider right there.
Maniac on the right, bench coach this year. Taylor Motter's in at third right now, placing Gordon Beckham.
Oh, like a good fastball. Didn't get the call. 94 miles an hour on his fastball.
The 1-1 to Sheldon Noose. Top back. 0 for 1 tonight. 8, 9, and 1 in the order. Dustin Fowler's on deck. Phelps out of St. Louis. Played with the Yankees with Ichiro, and Miami with Ichiro now. They're reunited again. Every year he has been, talking about Phelps, that he's been in the bigs, Mr. Suzuki's been right there.
Yeah, all 6 years for him so far. Now it'll be his 7th.
Ball and 2 strikes. 2-2. Here comes the 2-2. Fouls this one off. Phelps began his career as a starter when he got to the big leagues in 2012. 33 starts for the Yankees, a 4-4 record. 22 starts in 2013, 6-5. 32 starts in 2014. Did some starting for Miami in the 15 season, and since then he's been in the pen. Well, he's a definition of what many clubs are looking for. Former starter who can give you a couple, 3 innings. That's well tagged, deep right center field. DGordon going back, and it's up on the berm for a home run. Sheldon Noose with his 2nd home run of the spring ties the game at 1-1. Sheldon out of the University of Oklahoma, 4 minor league stops last year, and he hit well.
Yeah, breaking ball in the middle of the plate. They wanted that probably just off the outside corner. So missed his location and paid for it with that home run.
So new ball game at 1-1. There's Fowler, Dustin Fowler, flat out to left. Fowler off the glove. Robbie coming in, has got no play, base hit. Make sure you sign up your little sluggers. 2018 Mariners Kids Club MVP memberships. They're only $25 and include a Mariners backpack and cap, $1 ticket vouchers, plus exclusive MVP experiences, including autograph sessions and batting practice viewings. Register today at mariners.com/kids. A home run and a single, top of the order. Here's Jake Smolinski for the third time. 2 ground outs, the third. Looks at a strike. "16 games with the A's. Smolinski last year, .259 batting average. Fowler back with a dive, and you might remember Fowler, his debut with the Yankees in right field in Chicago against the White Sox. Chasing a foul ball, runs into an unpadded metal electrical box on the sidewall, blew up his knee, tore his right patellar tendon, season over. Never got a chance to swing the bat. He'd have been the leadoff guy in the next innings. This pitch fouled straight back as Fowler was on the move. So he has recovered nicely.
Yeah, he looks like he's running well.
Indeed. That was an ugly piece of video. The knee was so messed up that then Yankee manager Joe Girardi was almost brought to tears. It was so bad. Runner at first. Mariners looking for a double play. 0-2 pitch here to Smolinski.
And David looks healthy. Again, a good fastball at 94 miles an hour. Seen the hard slider from him so far. Delivery looks free and easy, no problems. Looks good.
Twice on the DL, so you know how thrilled he is. Runner goes again. Freitas throw high and late, stolen base for Fowler.
Well, it looked like it was a pretty good pitch for him to throw on. Looked like a fastball that was up in the zone. Just had a tough time with the exchange. That's the reason why the throw was late and high at second base.
Count at 1-2. Played off the breaking ball, 2-2. Each team a run on 4 hits. Mariners have committed 1 error. That ball's gone. No question about it. The Beer Garden, Four Peaks Pavilion. 2-run homer by Jake Smolinski. 3-1 A's lead. No doubt about that one. 2-2 pitch.
Fastball that was up, looked like it was middle in. And Smolinski able to get the barrel to it. Fastball at 91 miles an hour above the belt. And it was on the inside corner, and you can see he'll end up out in the pavilion. Mike Morin starting to get loose in the Mariners bullpen.
Shortstop Franklin Barreto. Smolinski's second home run of the spring, runs his RBI total to 8. A walk and a fly to center field so far for Barreto. Phelps gave up 5 home runs last year in 55 2/3 innings. Just inside, 3-0. .30 pitch. Takes a strike. I want to thank Pete Schwadell tweeting in that it was Wilhelmsen against Alexi Ramirez where that big flinch. It was Alexi Ramirez, not Elvis Andrus. I know it was a shortstop. I got that right. 3-2. Ball coming out of Big Tom's hand and boom, I'm out of here.
Alexi Ramirez.
That's well tagged, right field. Junior Lake not going to get that one. Bangs it off the fence. And a stand-up double for Franklin Barreto.
Yeah, looks like Scott's going to make a trip out to the mound. They would have a tough time of it tonight. 20 pitches so far in the inning. He's going to get Mike Morin.
David Phelps roughed up here in the 6th. Mariners trail 3-1.
We all made resolutions.
Building success together. And by Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com. Do more. That's some rugged terrain. Arizona-Utah border. You know, you want to be kind of careful taking that hairpin curve, don't you think?
I would think so.
American version of, looks like scene from, was it Takes a Thief? Monaco, Cary Grant, Grace Kelly. Here is Mike Morin. And as he faces Stephen Biscotti. And a line drive right at DGordon, pretty much in his tracks. Runner at second, Barreto digging for third. Here's a throw, safe. Oh boy, strong throw, just a little high.
A little high. He gets behind in pretty good shape. We saw his arm earlier throwing a runner out, but just a little bit high. Lets him get in there. Taylor Motter now at third base. And for Beckham.
Sixth man to the plate is going to be Matt Chapman. D a little upset with himself with that high throw. Had plenty on it.
Mariners have their infield in.
Warren saw a lot of him against the Mariners when he was with the Angels. He did go. This is home plate umpire Shane Livensparger. Had some help from first base umpire Brian Knight. 0-2. Ball and 2 strikes. Chapman part of 2 double plays in his plate appearances tonight. 4-6-3. The other one was the ball hit to right. Junior Lake got it started, throwing to Cano, who threw to Segura to double up his Scotty at second base. That was in the 4th. People writing in. Lance Aho says the other one we were thinking of. Remember, Yoribas, was it Medina? He did it to Ramirez too. Remember, big right-hander, big, strong, powerful right-handed guy we had back in 14.
It was Ramirez again.
Pretty sure I'll have to check it during the break, and that one gets away, and the A's going to put another run on the board, 4-1. Chapman got a 3-2 count. A difficult 6th inning here. A rough ride for the Mariners. A loud foul. Guys out there paying attention, and there we go. Come up with a souvenir. Trying to get out number 2, and he gets it with a strikeout, striking out Chapman.
Which is a good fastball. Wants it on the outside corner. Ends up more in the middle of the plate, maybe middle in, but elevated. And a late swing by Chapman. You can see Mike shaking his head, walking off the mound. He knows he missed his spot, was able to get away with it.
Chad Pender. Strikeout swinging, strikeout looking. He hit .238, 15 homers, 42 runs batted in last season. That's it. Right field, deep. Lake gone back, gone into the bullpen.
Third home run of the inning.
Wow. Nothing cheap about it either. Hit hard. Pender's first home run this spring. His 5th hit of the spring.
And that was on a fastball middle away. Blake thought he had a chance, just cleared the fence.
Here's Mark Canna, 8th man to the plate. Breaking ball for strike. Tagged left field. It gets down. Ian Miller will get it back in. And now the 9th man to the plate is going to be Bruce Maxwell.
Number 13, Bruce Maxwell.
Maxwell tonight, ground out and strikeout, looking 0 for 2. Monter's going to take a look. Can't get there.
And he was playing well off the line with the left-handed hitter up. No chance.
Mariners got their run. 4th inning. Leadoff double by Segura. Cano ground out. A productive out got him to 3rd. And he scored on a wild pitch. Segura taking control. He'll put this away. A big inning for the Athletics. 5 runs on 6 hits. No errors and leave a man. A's have broken it open. 5-1 Oakland. Is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Buckskin Gulch in northern Arizona, the longest slot canyon in the world. Make sure you get the right footwear on, water, and communication. Say the least. Here's Robbie Cano to lead it off. Mariners trying to get back into this game. Cano, Cruz, and Vogelbach 3, 4, and 5. Robbie 1 for 2 with a base hit to right and a ground out to second. Ooh, good breaking ball. 0-2 to Robbie, and Jerry Dipoto judges. Good to see you, Jerry. Jerry, the GM of the Mariners, VP and GM. So Ichiro, huh?
I can't complain. I'm very excited. Today was an exciting day. A lot of fun. I think Ichiro was in a great place. We're so excited to have him back, and the team really responded well to it. I think a lot of energy in the house today.
When did you have the first conversation or first thought about, hey, you know, obviously when Gamble goes down, but how did his name, that whole process, how did that start?
We had actually been in touch with him multiple times dating back to October. So, you know, and this is credit to John Boggs, Ichiro's agent. Reached out shortly after the end of the 2017 season to see where the fit might be, and obviously the fit occurred this past weekend. So I reached back out to John over this past weekend, and it took just minutes to wrap it up and get him on a plane. He was actually in Japan, so I had to come back over here.
Robbie goes down and gets one, got some carry. It's gone deep, and it's out of here. Home run. Robinson Cano went down and got it. Robbie with his first home run of the spring, his 3rd RBI.
I was talking about at the start of the game how he's been hitting everything the other way, and he's pulled the ball hard a couple of times tonight. Base hit, now that home run on the slow breaking ball.
I was wondering when we were going to start to pile on our runs.
Yeah, right. Well, that's a good sight. Good swing.
Take a look at it. Slow breaking ball. Stays with it. Out in front a little bit. It gets the barrel on it.
He's got such beautiful rhythm in this swing.
Watching Robbie hit, truly, it's beautiful to watch him hit. And I think that's one of the things that really stands out over the course of his career is that the aesthetics of his swing have really never changed.
Right.
Most guys, as they age, that's not necessarily the case. You know, it gets a little rusty, but not with Robbie. It looks as smooth as the day he got in the league.
We spoke to Scott earlier in the ball game, and it sounds like for Ichiro, the plan is for him to play 3-4 days a week. Is that kind of what you're thinking is too, along those lines, where he's going to be and where he's at age-wise at 44? I know he's in great shape.
I think to start the season, probably even a little more than that.
Okay.
You know, as we acclimate or assimilate Guillermo Heredia back to defense or outfield play, but the ability to play all the positions is something we talked about a lot. And, you know, Scott and I talked frequently about it. The goal would be, in an ideal world, to have him play somewhere between 3 and 5 times a week as we get into May, but particularly in the early going with Guillermo not having had a lot of defensive repetitions in spring training. And Ichiro, is, as you know, he's just in incredible shape. So he comes in ready to go.
And it's great to see Guillermo, at least in the lineup, starting to swing it. But just quickly for the fans watching right now, Haniger, good news on him and the situation with Gamble.
Correct. Yeah. The situation with Mitch is now hitting full bore on the field. We should expect, fingers crossed, to see him out in games this weekend and start his progression with his at-bats. And Ben Gamble, obviously, we found out the other day he has a grade 2 strain of the oblique on his right side. And, you know, that's probably not going to solve itself quickly. We're looking at 4 to 6 weeks as a downtime. And then we're going to have to build his at-bats or plate appearances back up, similar to spring training, which he hasn't had.
Some good news. DGordon has looked great in center field. I like the fact today that on the throw that he got away at second base, he was backing the throw up. A strong throw into third, which I didn't know he had that kind of arm, and then turned it loose again, a little bit high on the throw. But he has a pretty good arm out there, and he's aware of what's going on in center field. He seems to have a real knack for it.
Very aware. I think the thing that has stood out most, 2 things that have really stood out with DGordon. One, his work ethic is outrageously good. He wants to get better. He doesn't want to be a good center fielder. He wants to be a Gold Glove center fielder. He can really throw. The other thing that really sticks out is his instincts. He has great baseball instincts. You can tell that he grew up around the game. He loves to play. He has fun out there. I know it's a lot of fans watching at home. He made that throw, and I immediately got a text from my wife who's watching at home. You know, that I love DGordon's smile, and he's fun.
Well, who was it? Ian Miller said a couple of guys said he's going to win a Gold Glove.
Yeah, he is tremendous out there. It's been such an easy transition for him, and eventually he's going to make a mistake, but we haven't seen it yet. He looks as easy as it gets.
Play.
Real quick, with Healy out, you have a number of guys, Daniel, in the game tonight. But we had a chance to talk to Mike Ford earlier in the ball game too. What a nice guy. But can you kind of go through the process, him being a Rule 5 guy from the Yankees? Can you talk about, one, how you identify somebody like that, how you get him, and what that means for him moving forward?
Well, Mike Ford he's the product of more of our analytics group than our scouting group, frankly. He's been such a strong performer through the minor leagues, and obviously in order for us to have the ability to select him in the Rule 5 draft, he has to have not been protected by the Yankees. So each team is allowed, the Yankees, let's call it, have about 300 players in their minor league system, which is more than any other team in the league. They have 2 teams in the Dominican Summer League. They have 2 in the Florida Gulf Coast League, and they have 2 different rookie ball clubs. So they have a lot of players. So there's more coming through their system. Mike Ford was one of them. He's been a very good performer at every level. He's actually a rarity in baseball in that he has walked more frequently than he struck out as a minor leaguer. He's been all through to AAA, and he's done the right things, and he hit a lot of the markers that set off, you know, the red lights for us as we're looking for interesting players. And we went into this offseason thinking, all right, left-hand bat, first base, there's a chance he sticks with our club. You pay $50,000 for the pick, and now you have the ability to determine whether you're going to keep him or not. If you keep him, he stays on your roster. You've got to keep him on your active roster for at least 90 days of the active season, not September days. If you choose to return him to the Yankees and they say, yes, we'll take him back, they owe you half the money in return.
About Vogelback going gap here. Chris Mariscal pinch running for Nelson Cruz is going to score all the way from first. Now he fell down coming around. And Vogel back at second with another double.
Vogie, I was looking for Vogie. You get a triple out of this. You know? He's the new D-Gordon.
It looks like he's running well, though.
He runs very well.
His first time up, we were talking about that. And I think he's been more aggressive so far this spring, which is great to see.
Quite agree. I think he's having a great spring.
Yeah.
He really is. He's like a different guy, and he has no fear in the batter's box. I feel like in the year plus that we had him here, oftentimes he'd get passive in the box. He had taken too many pitches that he could drive, particularly that ball right there, that ball that gets down in there that he can dig. And, you know, he just hadn't swung the bat that way. He's played a very good defensive first base. He's never going to be a rangy guy, but he just needs to make the plays, pick the dirt balls, which he's done on 2 occasions tonight, make the accurate throw on the double play. He's doing all the right things, and he's given himself every chance to make a ball club.
Yeah, a couple of doubles, a home run the other day, a long home run the other day.
Smoked that ball the other day.
Quickly to finish up with Mike Ford, though, and the Rule 5. If it's a situation where you can't afford to keep him on your ball club, you still have the ability to work out a deal with the Yankees to keep him in your organization?
You do. And in this case with Mike, we'll keep him down to the end regardless.
Right.
He's an interesting guy. He's had the misfortune this spring, you know, to call it as it is. He's faced nothing but left-hand pitching.
We were laughing. We talked to him about
crazy.
that, yeah.
I mean, at one point, it was like 11 out of 12 at bats were against lefties.
Well, you and I, last time we were talking, he was in the lineup with Kershaw, but he was hitting eight, and Kershaw was at it. I was so happy for him that day.
I was sitting with the Dodgers guys that day that Kershaw threw against us, and Mike Ford had yet to see a right-hand pitcher. And when they took Kershaw out of the game after the first inning, I thought, oh, thank goodness for Mike Ford. You know?
Again, Marco Gonzalez looked good again today. Struggled a little bit maybe with his fastball command, but he had to make a pitch here and there and was able to do that. Outside of maybe getting on the backfield to learn how to throw to a base, he's a tremendous athlete. I'm just kidding, but he looked really good again.
He did, you know, Marco, I thought tonight was maybe the outing he needed. The first 2, he cruised a little bit.
Right.
You know, his command was excellent. He had crisp stuff. Tonight he didn't have his best stuff, but he went out there and he grinded through it. And you have to do that. He got a lot of outs with his changeup and his cutter, and he had to spray the ball to kind of get to where he wanted to be. He wasn't locating the way he had the first 2. And I think you're going to go through a 30-start Major League season, and you're going to have, you know, 8 or 10 that are just like that, where you're going to have to grind through them. And he did it. And you know, you joke, but it was noticeable. He did spray his throws around. But this is one of the best athletes we have on the club, and do believe that the PFP, or the pitcher fielding his position, is something Marco generally does very well. He just had a rough night with it tonight.
You had to be delighted with Zipchinski's appearance here tonight. 1, 2, 3 looked really good.
Quite. You know, his first and third outings were tremendous. You know, we're trying to unsee the middle one.
Yeah, right.
You know, which I bet Zepp is feeling the same way. But you know, he was terrific tonight. His ball's got a lot of life. He's made some mechanical adjustments to try to create a different angle to the ball. And you know, he's always had that great sink. He always has the breaking ball, but commanding the ball in the strike zone has never been a consistent thing for him. And he's doing much better with it this spring.
He changed his stride. Was that one of the mechanical things that he did?
Yeah, he's changed his stride, and he's squared up his body a little bit so that his lead leg isn't swinging around. It's stepping towards the plate.
Right. Okay. Because he always was always that swing.
Yeah, almost a circular, like a swinging gait. And oftentimes when that gate swings too fast, you're just going to drag the ball to your opposite side.
So now you're just going straight.
Correct.
And then he can do a lot more things with it, right?
And now the sink is going to work over the white part of the plate, even if it's down. It's a pitch that they might go for, as opposed to a ball he's just dragging outside the zone.
I know it didn't go particularly well for him tonight, but I was talking about David Phelps and how important he was when he showed up last year. And he's one of the things that you were talking about is getting that guy, the bridge guy, a couple of innings. And he was perfect for that. Fortunately, he was hurt a couple of times. But tonight, 94, looked like a breaking ball was pretty sharp. Dislocation was an issue for him, but he's going to be important for you guys.
I think it'll be huge. But, you know, both he and Nicasio, because they're that multi-inning presence in front of Edwin Diaz. David Phelps had good stuff tonight. He didn't have good precision. It didn't have good results, but the stuff was good. His first outing was electric. Similarly, up to 95 miles an hour. We saw the really good cutter, the good curveball, and it was crisp and it was well located. I think tonight we saw the other shoe coming down with the command's not quite where we need it to be, but that's why they created spring training, so they can get his 5-6 outings before we start.
And speaking of the bullpen and spring training and electric, Dan Altavilla has looked fantastic. I mean, his command of his slider has been unreal so far early in camp.
crazy. And the slider, we're back. I mentioned it today earlier. The very first slider that we saw Dan Altavilla throw as a major leaguer was, if you recall, was in 2016. We called him up.
In Chicago?
In Chicago.
In Chicago, sure.
And he threw a 92-mile-an-hour slider to Todd Frazier that looked like a wiffle ball. And we're seeing that slider again. And we've seen it consistently this spring. And we'd see it in spots in the last year and a half, but we'd not seen it consistently until this spring. He's locked in. His fastball command is as good as we've ever seen it. He's living in the mid-upper 90s. He looks like a man on a mission. And every time he walks off the mound, we joke with each other, hey, let's just call it a spring and take this guy to Seattle now.
Because you also did it as a player, but when you talk about a young man that has his type of arm, he hit 99 last night. You took a chance taking him out of the rotation in Double-A along with Diaz and putting him in the bullpen. And at first he looked terrific, and then he kind of had some issues here and there, more command than anything. Is there something to that because he'd been starting, and then he's relieving, and what do you have to do to get him on track to where he is more consistent? He sounded awfully confident when I talked to him.
And he should be. He's found his own consistency. You know, Dan and Edwin, frankly, as starters, neither one of them had mastered command of their pitches, and as a starting pitcher, that's probably going to be more critical to your success than as a reliever, because as a reliever you're getting the power, and when you're throwing 99 you can make a little bit more of a location mistake than maybe the guy who's throwing 89. And in Altavilla's case, what we're seeing now is that we're seeing the maturation of a guy who's learned how to command his pitches, you know. And frankly, we're seeing similar things out of Edwin. In the spring this year, Edwin's been he looks like a different guy emotionally, and so far so good on the conversions from starters. I'd even throw out a big fellow we saw last night, Art Warren, who's another one of those. And Art, if you had a chance to watch that was electric.
Yes.
And some of the excitement that we've had in camp is watching these young relievers, and the arms that are coming out of our bullpen are so much more interesting than maybe they were 2-3 years ago, just in terms of the raw ability.
Tell me about Junior Lake. How'd you find him?
Junior Lake was a favor of Manny Acta. So Manny, as you know, Manny spends his winters down in the Dominican managing, actually general managing now. And Junior Lake was one of the players that they had picked up late going into the Caribbean Series. Had a great Caribbean Series, and Manny said, "Hey, Junior Lake doesn't have a job. What do you think?" And you know, he hadn't done much with the bat yet, but defensively he has been great. He plays very hard and runs the bases wisely. He's a big guy, but a very good athlete.
Okay, your rotation. We talked about Marco Gonzalez. Paxton has looked good. Mike Leake he's becoming one of my favorites. Just the way he goes about his business, the way he works, just his overall attitude of wanting to pitch deep into games. So I'm really happy with that. That was a huge acquisition for this club, not just what he did last year, but going into this year. A little setback with Felix. Where's he at, and when do you expect to see him on the mound?
Well, Felix, first I'll say about Mike Leake, I'm guessing you like him because he gets you to the golf course a little quicker.
That doesn't hurt. That does not hurt.
Yeah, he's a little on the efficient side.
Yeah.
With Felix, he threw yesterday. First time since he was hit with the line drive that he threw. He looked great. He looked very normal. There was something on the ball when he was throwing from 60 feet. He's going to go through his throwing progression. I do believe, and fingers crossed, that Felix is going to be ready to go when we break camp, and we'll see him here in the not too distant future. We're also encouraged about the improvement or the progress being made by Erasmo Ramirez.
Good.
It might be a little harder for Erasmo to catch up in time to break camp with the club, but if he's not there, we're encouraged by where he is. He starts his throwing progression on Saturday, and everything looks good. Fingers crossed for a speedy recovery for him as well.
Because thinking about all those different things and trying to figure out a fifth starter, if things work out with Marco, and certainly he's trying to make this club and looks good so far. But then also looking at the schedule, when do you need a fifth starter? And is that a situation where if nobody shows up that you're happy with, can you use some of the guys out of the pen? How is that going to work for you, do you think?
I think we will go to a fifth starter rather than try to put together a pen day. And, you know, for us, that day is April 14th.
Okay.
So, you know, we don't need a fifth starter until midway through April. So we're going to go about 2 weeks before we need one, which probably means for us we will break with an 8-man bullpen and a 4-man rotation and carry the extra position player for as long as we can. Okay. Though between now and then, depending on the health of the pitching, we may alter that, but for now that's what we're hoping for.
Ideally, it's been great this spring because so many things are already settled on your club, minus a few injuries here and there. But when you talk about utility, Beckham's played well, really swung the bat well. Romine, was great talking to him yesterday. He looks terrific also. You have Motter, who can do a lot of different things. If looking at your club, and maybe not even the first couple of weeks, Jerry, but just as you get into the season, some of the guys that you're going to have on your bench, one, what are you looking for them to do and the type of player that they're going to have to be if you're going to continue to carry an extra guy in the pen or however that's going to work out?
Well, I think for the most part, our hope is that we don't have to carry an 8-man bullpen this year. But we are going to carry a 12 or 13-man pitching staff at intervals during the season. For us, the utility guy is critical. The ability to play as many different positions as possible allows us to be creative with what we're doing elsewhere, whether it be carry 2 first basemen, you know, a right and left-hand swinger, whether we carry the extra pitcher down in the bullpen, or at various times during the season we may want to go to a 6-man rotation in order to protect the innings of guys like Marco and Erasmo and roughly everybody in the rotation with the exception of Mike Leake. We would like to be able to protect their innings at the appropriate time when the season starts getting to that 20 in a row where you can slip in a 6th starter and just give the guys a blow.
Yeah, and that's probably, I would imagine, those few decisions will go all the way down to the end of this thing.
No question about it. We've got some good ideas based on how guys have thrown early in the camp. We do really like our bullpen depth. That's been an encouraging thing.
Yeah, it's terrific.
And frankly, we're some of the things that have been exciting in this spring as well have been the progression that's been made by Rob Whalen, by Max Povsey, the last start made by Andrew Moore. Our young starters have really shown up, and it's been encouraging the progress they've made. These guys are all 24 years old.
Right.
It gets lost in the weeds. Last year we had to rush these guys to the big leagues to help us, and they're far more talented than they were able to show a year ago.
I was listening to James on the radio side of things, and he was going through and talking about his mechanics again. He went to the bullpen and worked on a few things that he picked up watching the video. And he's interesting to me. I enjoy talking to him. And over the last couple of years, with all the things that he has gone through, one, can you talk about just his mindset? Because he's always talking about mechanics. Here's a guy that's out there throwing 98 in the 7th, 8th inning if you need him to. And he's talking about mechanics all the time. And just where do you see him going in all of this? We've talked about the injury, some of it not his fault, a line drive off the forearm, what are you going to do? But where do you see him, and what do you think of him moving forward?
You know, I think Pax is one of the best pitchers in the league, frankly. He's the physical stuff can be overwhelming at times. He has really grown into a mature leader. In our clubhouse, among our pitchers, his ability to execute multiple pitches.
You could see some of that on the mound last year, right? Just as how aggressive he was in his attitude out there.
And the focus. The focus it's so much different than the first year I was here. He's grown, and I say this about a 29-year-old man. He has grown up so much in the last 2 years in the way he prepares, the way he works, the intent, the way he takes care of his body, the way he works in the gym, and frankly his attention to the detail, whether it be his opponent or the way he's finishing pitches or the small nuances in his delivery. He's committed to being great, and he knows. I think James understands how much ability he has, and that it's one more turn of the key to really become one of the elite. And I think he has the drive to do it. He's extremely talented, as you said. Whether it's getting hit on the arm, whether it's a fingernail issue, it's blisters. Those are small details. He's had one arm issue in an otherwise dinged up career with small things that you really can't control. We can't count those as repeatable. We think he's going to be perfectly fine to take the ball and run out there for us 30 times.
It's kind of fun. This is the last thing for me. We've had for a long time this inning, but it's kind of fun to kind of think about. And Scott said it today that Ichiro would hit towards the bottom of the lineup because obviously with Gordon and Segura, but to think about Ichiro, Gordon, and Segura in that order coming, they're going to cause some problems for some people. That's kind of fun to think about.
Oh, I think it is. It's one of the things, we like that element with Ben, but Ichiro down there, our ability to make contact, run the bases, get around the bases, we should be fun to watch.
Jerry, nice to have a long inning. Cover a lot of ground, man. That was
it all. Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate it.
That was good, man. Thanks a lot. And this one got it started here. Robbie Cano with the home run on a breaking ball. Gets the Mariners. Get them back on the board here. 5-3 ball game as we head to the 7th.
Tomorrow at 5:30.
The Athletics on top of the Mariners. Well, you'd like to forget tonight's outing, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one thing to take away from tonight is my arm feels good.
There you go.
The ball's still coming out well.
Right.
And I talked with Mel. It's second time since August. It's can't really expect the command to be completely there yet. Yeah, I mean, we'll go out and get him next time.
Well, I think that you're right on right there, Dave. And we just talked to Jerry DiPoto, who was up in the booth with us. And I told him, I said, you know, you were so important when you came over to the club, and you will be this year, too. And I was just happy with you having some issues last year to see you out there 94, 95. Looked like you had some pretty good bite on your slider. Just unfortunately some pitches in the middle of the plate. It didn't go your way tonight, but your health looks terrific.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, a lot of first time working with a lot of these guys behind the plate right now. And we're also working on stuff. I mean, first at bat, 2-2 curveball. Hadn't really put a good swing on a fastball. I had a good fastball today. It's just probably not what we're throwing in the season, but at the same time, this is what spring training's for. You got to work on it, and it's curveball's a big pitch for me.
I'm thinking that you have to be really good friends with Ichiro, because this is your 7th season, and he just keeps following you around.
You got a GPS on you?
No, I've been blessed in my career to play with some incredible ball players, some surefire Hall of Famers, Ichiro being one of them, and it's, you know, every time I see him sign with the team that I'm playing for, I am over the moon. I've been just incredibly impressed with the way he goes about his job, the way he, you know, carries himself professionally on and off the field, and just what he brings to a ball club, not only for what he does on the field, but just what he can offer to younger players. And I saw it firsthand in Miami with our young outfield there, and just, you know, the way he goes about his job and how professional he is with it.
At this stage of his career, 44 years old, having seen him a lot, give me a moment where you went, are you kidding me? That's a heck of a play. Or he did something where it just totally wowed you.
I actually just got chills thinking about it, but his 3,000th hit in Colorado, I mean, it was 2 or 3 feet away from being a home run. And it's, you know, he just does incredible things on a baseball field. You know, I've seen him, you know, Yankee Stadium hitting home runs. What we thought at the time was going to be his last at bat in Safeco was a home run, and so you know, hopefully he's got a lot more highlights for us this year.
David, do you know when you're going to throw multiple innings, go a couple of innings in and out?
I don't know that yet. We're still it's still a little bit day to day. You know, Mel asked me what I thought about next time through 2 days or 3 days, and it's kind of, you know, we'll see how I feel coming in tomorrow. I'm expecting to feel fine, so I imagine as the spring gets going, there's going to be a multiple inning. There'll probably be a back-to-back, and then, you know, be ready for opening day.
It's kind of fun for you, isn't it, to look around the room? That bullpen is pretty talented, and there's some big-time arms out there, including yours.
Yeah, we can do some special things. You know, it's one thing that I've come to appreciate in this game is it's not about, you know, a starter having to go 9 innings. It's not about, you know, any one person trying to carry the ball club. It's just about a group of guys trying to get 27 outs, whatever that equation is.
What's been the biggest difference? I mean, going from starter to sort of a bridge guy, what's that transition been like in the course of your career?
I mean, I throw a lot harder now than I did when I was a starter, but that was more of health related than anything. I try not to change it really. It's really just pitching. You know, I'm trying to get guys out. Doesn't matter, you know, whether you're a starter or reliever, you're just trying to put up zeros. So I try to carry that over into the bullpen as well.
Last thing for me, David, because Dave just mentioned it, the bridge guy, and that's something to me that Jerry had talked about last year early in the season, and it seems that the game is starting to move that way. And you always heard about the closer and the setup guy, but that role and the one that you're going to be in, and you can certainly set up and close and do that too, but that is such an important role in today's game. Can you talk about that? What were your thoughts about it when you first heard about it, or you were being used in that kind of role?
Yeah, we kind of did it a little bit last year in Miami. At the beginning of the season, and then we just kind of fell more into our the traditional bullpen roles there towards. But at the same time, like, the closer can't do his job if we don't get the ball to him with a lead. So it's not to say that the most important outs of the game are the last 3. You know, a lot of times you look at leverage, it's you can have the biggest outs of the game happen in the 6th inning. So we take pride in the back end that we have, you know, on this ball club, and going out and, you know, helping us win a lot of ball games.
You got a good-looking group down there, and we look forward to seeing you guys in action. David, thanks for your time, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All the best to you.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
You bet. Boog Powell, Mariner, until he was traded to Oakland last year. He's at the dish right now, 2-0 the count. (5-3) ball game. This one fouled back. As we go along, Mike, this is year 12. I mean, so many new things going on. I mean, guy's going to have another card now. Bridge guy.
The game just keeps changing, evolving.
You better have one.
The bullpen, yeah, it's always been important, but it's so important in today's game, especially with the starters not pitching as much as they used to.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody today about that, and they said, hey, the numbers are overwhelming. That most, with the exception of your Verlanders and Scherzer and who's the other guy with the beard in Houston?
Keuchel, yeah.
Those with
Kershaw,
Kershaw.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about your blue chippers. Aren't that many blue chippers that are going to go 6-7 innings?
It's interesting because these guys have so much information and so much data, and the main thing is for any starter to try to get through a lineup the third time. The numbers bear it out that it's such a difficult thing to do, and managers are not willing to wait around or take a chance on a given night.
Up the middle. Powell's retired. Zach Vinci, the shortstop.
You know, it's one of those things, too, where you look at it, and it's probably a difficult thing, and Scott gets a lot of information, certainly from Mel, about when to take a starter out of the game, and people think, well, you know, he's throwing the ball so well, why are you taking him out now? Well, it's because of a history, and it's the numbers and everything else that goes, and maybe his bullpen is rested, and he feels better about that because this guy may struggle to get through a lineup the third time. So why wait even though he's throwing the ball well? Sometimes you have to do it if your bullpen is in tough shape, but they typically are not going to wait around anymore. And that didn't used to be the case. They used to try to get guys through, especially if they were throwing the ball well. But so many times it backfires on them, and I just don't think that where the game is today, they're willing to chance that or to deal with it.
A lot of coaches have told me over the years, you know, the other team's bats will tell you the story.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to figure it out before those bats tell you the story.
Exactly.
Because
they're bitten the bud.
Especially in this game, you know, it's a base hit and it's a home run before you know it, and you're in trouble. Especially with the way these guys are trying to hit everything in the air and out of the ballpark.
New era in baseball. Mile high pop. Somebody. Catch man out there by Lake, and that'll do it. Nothing across in the seventh. Time to stretch here in Peoria. 5-3 A's.
Legendary toughness, cutting edge tech, and for a limited
Mariners, we want to know where you are. Use the hashtag #WhereIRoot, and we will try to get your photo on the air. Corey sends this one in first spring training game for his boy. Reminder that when you use that hashtag, it does give us permission to use your photo on the air. All right, Dave, back to you.
All right, Angie, thank you very much. Always good to see those pictures. People watching us around the region, around the country, and around the world. Daniel Gossett, a right-hander, takes over. See a lot of the kids in the ball game right now, the younger players. Zach Vinci is going to lead off here for the Mariners. Here in the 7th. Zach Vinci, 167, 1 for 6. Be his 5th game. Count at 1-1. Zach Vinci, 26 years old, out of San Diego. Claimed off waivers from Cincinnati back in November. One and 2 they count. He's batting in the spot vacated by Gene Segura. Breaking ball, strike 3 call, 1 down. Hey, Mariner fans, spring training, it's here and on MLB.tv. Watch select spring training games live on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions do apply for regular season games. Visit MLB.tv for details. Danny Muno. The 0-1. Danny Munoz out of Las Vegas, Nevada. That's where he lives, born in Torrance, California. 273 at Tacoma last year with 8 homers and 33 runs batted in 91 games. Slice and drive left field, played on a hop, and it gets by, so Muno can keep on running. He'll get the second. He'll hold there.
I like to see these kids when they get a chance to play, get in there and swing the bat. Fastball right down the middle. Taylor has a pretty good fastball at 95, and mistake in left field, so he'll end up at second base. That'll be a base hit and an error on a left fielder.
There's Mike Ford, who we had on earlier in the ball game.
Swinging the bat better over the last 3 or 4 days.
And he gets a right-hander.
Very good point.
Seen predominantly left-handers in his time here in spring training. Daniel Gossett on the mound. Mike Ford, third baseman and pitcher, as we mentioned, out of Princeton University, going against Daniel Gossett, 6'2", 185, out of Lyman, South Carolina. Played his college ball at Clemson. Ford gets into one, high and deep, right center field, headed for the berm. And that was a catch by Boo Powell. Wow. That was really something special. Good angle, great closing, speed, daring do with the sliding catch. Well done. As a lefty, had to backhand.
Great concentration to make that catch. Gets up quickly. Munoz will move up a base. Takes a double away from him, and with the way the wind's been blowing here over the last week or so, normally that probably was a home run.
Sure enough.
Flags are straight down right now, no wind at all, but a great play by Powell. Really good at bat by Ford too. Hit the ball hard.
There's Cameron Perkins. Came in as a pinch runner in the 6th. Blocked by Taylor, the catcher. 1-1. Perkins coming over from the Phillies organization. Couple cups of coffee last year. 1-1. Ups the ball down to third. Noonan throws him out. Inning over to the 8th inning. 5-3 Athletics.
Root Sports, your home for Golden Knights hockey.
Welcome back, everybody. Right now, the Mariners trail by 2 as we head to the 8th inning. Angie Mentink and Dave Valley in the studio. Mike Flowers and Dave Sims down in Peoria. I know, guys, at the beginning of spring, you're getting the kinks out. And then you look at the end of spring training, and you're really trying to gear up to start the regular season. But, Mike Flowers, what is it in the middle of spring training that you're trying to get accomplished right now?
Yeah, I think for the position players, fundamental baseball, whether they're in the field, that's hitting your cutoffs, which they did a nice job of tonight. Cutting down the errors. They've made 3 errors tonight. And then to clean up the base running again, I think the fundamental things are the most important. When you look at the veteran guys, where they're at offensively, I don't worry about them if they have a track record, and the Mariners have a bunch of them. But I'm going to keep my eye on, probably more than anything, who's going to be that 5th starter. I thought Marco Gonzalez looked great again. It'll be great to have Felix out there when his time comes. Nice to hear some good news on Ramirez, but he's not going to be ready. And who's going to fill that role? I think their bullpen is in great shape right now. But so for me, I'll just continue to watch the guys. Jerry mentioned a bunch of them on where the starters are. And, you know, Val, I think when you look at your bench, they have some nice things. Utility infielder, extra outfielder, the backup catcher, and all those things, and they are important to your club. But for me, those decisions will come at the end of camp. I want to see a couple of guys step forward in the rotation because we know how important that has been for them over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think a lot of those decisions, Blow, won't be made until that very last few days of spring training. So these guys that are fighting for those positions, some of the backup positions, I am of the belief that if a team is going to be a championship team, the guys that are on your bench have to be good, because you know what you're going to get when you roll out your 9 guys, right? Your 9 horses go out there. You have a pretty good idea. But on those days when those guys aren't out there, it's those guys who are stepping in. Can they kind of pick up the slack when Robbie Cano has a day off, or when Nelson Cruz has a day off, and or Mike Zunino has a day off? So I think as you look at the end of a season where a division is won or lost by 1 to 3 games, those 15 games that those guys are stepping in for the horses are really critical. And it's going to be fun watching how all of those battles for those different positions play out by the end of the spring.
Hey, Val, you know, along those lines, when you look at a ball club and you're trying to put it together, and you're right, those guys are important. And so for me, look, a lot of them are utility guys or backup players, and you have your starters that are out there. It's rare to have guys that can do everything, because if they could, they'd probably be starting for the most part. So would you rather have guys that are strong defensively that can maybe move around, or do you want them to be able to swing it? I mean, obviously, you'd like to have them both, but typically that's not what you're going to end up getting most of the time.
Yeah, I think the defensive side is so critical for those days when your offensive players are taking a day off. I think you have to be able to feel confident to put those guys in, whether it's behind the plate, whether it's at shortstop, whether it's at first base, or whether it's in the outfield, that they can catch the baseball. I always felt that offense is kind of the icing on the cake, but the defense will keep you in those games. And if you're staying in those games, then it's going to come down to, you know, a big hit here or there. But we've seen too often when defenses start to break down, that's when the game gets sloppy and you don't really have a chance to win that ball game.
Hey, Val, the last thing for me is when you look at the club for the Mariners, I think one of the things that's going to be a real strength for them is going to be their bullpen. Your thoughts on that? I mean, you look at so many starters that aren't going to, Dave and I were talking about it earlier, and you have to have that bridge guy. We talked to David Phelps tonight. Obviously, things didn't go well for him, but he's going to be really valuable to this club. Just the way the game has gone, and how you manage that bullpen is going to be critical. But I think that the bullpen is going to be a real strength for him. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the bullpen is one of their strengths of this ball club. The lineup, as I look at it today, I mean, this is an incredible lineup. You know, take into account with what Mike Zunino did last year, and he's going to be hitting in the bottom of your order. And what he was able to accomplish from the time he got sent back to the big leagues. He's one of the best offensive catchers in baseball last year. I mean, his OPS plus was just, I think it was over 150. But this is a team offensively. I don't think there's any holes. The bullpen is absolutely a strength, but we're seeing the game evolve to where that bullpen is going to be the heart and soul of a championship ball club. We see it certainly in the playoffs, and I think we're going to start to see it more and more creep into the regular season, where teams are going to be trying to make sure that starter doesn't go through that lineup the third time, and where you're going to see those big power arms coming out inning after inning after inning before you can hand the ball off to your closer. So I think the Mariners are in a really good position with this bullpen. As I look at it, you got Diaz closing, adding Nicasio, Vincent, and Phelps. Yeah, struggled today, but it's early spring training, and as he said, he's working on some things. But the bullpen and managing that pen is going to be critical for the Mariners' success.
Isn't it amazing, guys? And we'll give it back to you, Dave Sims. When you look at it, it's not like one guy throws 95 down in the bullpens. It's like every single guy coming out of the pen nowadays is throwing 97 with nasty.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's where the game is right now, and that's a formula. We say it all the time, copycat industry, and
it's exciting on that line, Dave, when you look at the way Diaz has looked and the way Altavala. The two young guys out there are both rushing it up there around 100 to go along with all the veterans that they're looking at, who all throw 95 too.
And then you got Zipchinski's a nice change of pace, veteran guy, left-hander, come in and get that one or two critical outs.
The other lefty, Pazos, is throwing 95.
Yeah, it's encouraging. It really is. Nick Noonan, the hitter. .63 ball game. Run scored on that throwing error by Motter. Hammered foul. Nick Noonan. Bob Melvin. And just about everybody he brought, or many of the guys he brought, getting them into the game here tonight. One out, a run in, and a runner on. Two and one to count. Because of numerous injuries last year, Chase DeYoung Called up from the minors after being obtained late in spring training from the Dodgers. Had to make some starts last year. Center field. Matt Haig out there. 2 away. Baseball, it's back at Safeco Field beginning Thursday, March 29th. One of the biggest events of the year. Opening night. Festivities include red carpet introductions, fireworks, and more. Great seats to opening night presented by KeyBank. They're still available at mariners.com. Bo Taylor, the catcher. First plate appearance. Strike one. Six runs on 9 hits, 1 error by the Athletics. 3 runs, 7 hits, and 4 errors made by the Mariners. One one. Mariners got their run. Wild pitch in a 4th, home run Cano in the 6th, and a bases loaded walk to Motter in the 6th. Two and one. Mike Margeba behind the plate. Took over for David Freitas, who got the start. Mike Zunino, night off. Chase DeYoung trying to close out this inning here. Solidly stroked in the right field. Junior Lake charging. And a run's going to score to make it 7-3. An RBI Taylor. Next inning, we're going to hear from Ichiro. His remarks made during this afternoon's news conference here at Peoria Sports Complex. A couple of runs in. Nick Martini is up again. Two outs and a runner at first. Ten hits now for the Athletics. Breaking ball got away from him. 2-0. Chase out of Long Beach, California. Big kid, 6'4", 205. 7 games, 4 starts last year for the Mariners. 0-3, a 6.35 ERA.
And now that his pitch count is starting to climb up there on 34 pitches, he's losing command of his fastball.
.30. Back with a strike. Chase obtained from the Dodgers in exchange for Drew Jackson and Anuris Zabala, March 1 of last year. 3-1. The foul ball. Full count, 3-2. Martini trying to keep this inning alive here for the Athletics. Chase DeYoung trying to shut him down here. Runner at first, Taylor will be on the move. 3-2 pitch, 2 outs. Walked in.
And now making a quick run out to the mound. Have a conversation with him. Reliever just starting to throw in the bullpen. Nobody ready to go. Wyatt Mills getting loose, the right-hander.
Number 81. Chase had a lot of success at Tulsa back in 2016. Went 14-5 in 25 starts. 14-5 at 2.86 ERA. Texas League Pitcher of the Year and mid and postseason All-Star. Here's Anthony Garcia. Bit of a struggle here in the 8th inning. On the count. Back with you on the TV side tomorrow. San Francisco Giants will be in. And then on Friday, we'll go over to Scottsdale and see the Giants at cozy Scottsdale Ballpark. On 1 pitch. Breaking ball. Not happening for him here tonight. 2-1.
Now at 40 pitches and really struggling with his command. Typically he can get his breaking ball over for strikes, but that hasn't been the case tonight. A couple of the pitchers struggling. Talked about David Phelps earlier. He had good stuff tonight, just struggled through it, and now Chase having a tough time with the strike zone.
Two one. Well, a lot of pitches. Third 3-ball count this inning. Three 1 pitch. Bender for strike. Full count. Fifteen starts at Tacoma, 3-6 last year. 6.00 ERA in 84 innings. Three-two pitch, 2 out, runners move. Breaking ball, hit foul. Seven-3 Athletics. They put 5 on the board in the 6th, 2 more here in the 8th. Mile high fly ball. Short center field, inning over. 2 more on the board for the Athletics. They open up the lead to 7-3.
Future Hall of Famer explain what's left for him to accomplish.
In 2001, when I first came over, I was really only worried about myself because I knew that if I didn't perform, I wasn't going to be around. And so I only had that time to really worry about me and just think about what I needed to do. Now, obviously, it's been 17 years since then. Obviously, I still have things that I want to do, I want to accomplish. Of course, I want to do that as a player. But what's different for me today is that I've had many experiences to get to this point, but I'm really thinking about this year, what the Seattle Mariners need and what I can do to help. And that's what I want to do. I want to be able to help the Seattle Mariners. I want to give it all. Everything that I've gained, everything that I've done in my career, I want to just give it all right here in Seattle.
Ichiro, you've expressed the desire to play until the number on the back of your uniform. What does it mean to you to have that opportunity to keep going, especially at this point?
You know, I think everybody hears that I want to play until I'm 50, but I want to make sure everybody understands that. I always say at least 50. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that.
Just completely deadpans it. And guys, the way he takes care of himself, who knows?
Well, if anybody can do it, it'll be Ichiro. There's no question about that. And I can remember, he's 44 now, so 10, 12 years ago when we started, we were saying, well, if he gets in his 40s, that's an accomplishment. He's ready to be a major contributor here.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear Scott and Jerry talking about him probably playing quite a bit, especially early in the season. So, look for him to practice 3 or 4 days here on the backfields, and then they'll start getting him in some games. But I'm not surprised to hear that. I think he'll handle it fine. I mean, as far as his physical conditioning, that's not going to be an issue at all.
7-3 ball game. Here's Junior Lake. Going the distance here today. Looks like a breaking ball. He struck out, ground out, and a foul out so far tonight. Here are some more comments from Ichiro from today's news conference. We'll hear that top of the 9th inning. Two and one. One of the offensive highlights tonight. Robbie Cano with a home run on a breaking ball back in the 6th, leading off that inning. Two and two. Nelson Cruz hit a ball real hard, sent one to the track in center field. He went 0 for 2 with a walk, so he's 0 for 14 on the spring.
Keeps throwing him that breaking ball. He's chased it a couple of times. Pretty good job to lay off of that one to get it to a 3-2 count. See if he can handle a fastball. Another breaking ball. That's 4 in a row.
Man. Sometimes look at this and you go, hey, that's not the game I played, is it?
Exactly. Especially early in spring.
Right. Yeah, it's March 7th. There's the fastball. He missed way off the plate. One out base runner for the Mariners. There's Taylor Motter again. Bases loaded walk. First time up. Taylor Motter. Motter likes the fastball. See if he gets one. If you're handicapping this utility race, who do you have right now? You got Romine in front, or you got, or maybe it's a push at the neck and neck between Beckham and Romine.
I think it's way too early to tell. You look at it, both those guys have some experience doing that. I think they like how athletic Taylor is and his ability to play the outfield along with the infield spots. It'll be nice to see which way they go on this one and what the club is going to look like. It's going to be important for him, that's for sure.
Well, it's like the first furlong in a race. So
there you go. Well, if that's the case, then I would probably have to lead towards Beckham with the way he's been swinging it.
10 hits, leads the club.
Yeah.
Oh, 2. Daniel Gossett continues on here. Swing and a miss, a breaking ball. 2 outs. His second strikeout against 1 walk. Second time up for John Andrioli. Took a called 3rd strike in the 6th. Looks at a strike. Andrioli caught by surprise on that one. He thought he had ball 1.
Night game in spring training getting a little bit late. Things tend to open up a little bit, Dave.
Human nature being what it is, thank goodness. So that thought where if you see it and you can hit it, let it rip.
Yep, exactly right.
One pitch. Ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner at first. Mariners down 7-3. 7 runs, 10 hits, an error for the Athletics. 3 runs, 7 hits, 4 errors for the Mariners. Third baseman charges, throws out Andrioli. Mariners strand a runner. We go to the 9th, 7-3 Oakland.
We live in one of the most beautiful
Athletics over the Mariners, 7-3 right now. Your score. Hi, everybody. Angie Mentink with you. As promised, more now from Ichiro, where he discussed his return to the Mariners. Ichiro was traded in 2012 to the Yankees and spoke about his evolution as a player since he left the Emerald City.
A lot has happened in 5 years. I've experienced many things. In the 5 years, I think I've learned and I've gained many experiences, and I've learned to handle situations and be able to go through certain things. And obviously, as a player, you know, I think you see the numbers, and you know, maybe that's a little different, but I've gained a lot and learned a lot in these last 5 years. That makes me who I am today.
Ichiro, the last time you were in Safeco, you hit a home run in your last at bat. At that time, did you think you might come back, and what will it mean to go back into Safeco Field and have the crowd and all that?
After that game, you know, people were saying, you know, maybe this is the last time you're going to be here. You know, but you know, somewhere I wanted to come here again, and I thought that there was going to be another opportunity. Obviously, nothing was in the works, or nothing was talked about. But you know, I thought that I would play again here. And obviously, this time coming here, being at Safeco Field, I just hope that the fans can say welcome home. You know, and obviously, I got to be that player in order for that to happen. So obviously, it's all up to me, and I got to do my thing and make sure that I'm able to do that. But I'm hoping that the fans can say welcome home.
I have no doubt that fans will welcome him back, guys, with open arms. I am not kidding you. I still will ask fans, who's your favorite Mariner? And they'll be like, Ichiro. I'm like, how do I break it to you? He doesn't play for the team anymore. But now he does again.
Yeah, that's a brand new fact, and it's been interesting watching the reaction of folks on social media and listening to the airwaves and everything. He's back, and hopefully he's going to make a big contribution to the Mariner Ball Club. Ramon Laureano is the hitter with 1 out, nobody on. Sam Mole on the mound. Taylor Motter, out number 2. Slade Heathcott is at third base. He's 0 for 1, grounded out to second base back in the 8th inning. There's 1-0. Easily the heaviest tattoo generation of baseball players in the history of the game. And it's not like just one. I mean, they're getting murals. It's unreal.
When are you getting yours?
No, it hasn't happened yet. It ain't going to happen as we move forward.
All right, I guess I'm with you on that.
Still have a lot of my dad in me, and I can. No, you're not even thinking about that, you know. 2-2. Boy, it is something big in this country these days. Oh, these kids today, huh? Three and two out, nobody on. Paid off right here. Walked in. It's interesting. We were talking to Jerry DiPoto that Felix had a good catch.
Yeah.
As we progress forward, and he was one on flat. So we'll see how looking forward to seeing his first opportunity to get back on the mound. It's good for everybody. The organization's mental health will be good to have him back out there and show, show some good form.
Yeah, it'll be great to have him back out there. And again, it's one of those things you can't do anything about. It was a line drive that hit his forearm, and that caused the problem for him. And unfortunately, we won't get to see this new program that he was supposed to be on this spring, starting earlier, throwing a few more innings. Now this kind of sets him back. I think he'll be ready to go at the start of the season.
Runner goes, and Martin can't make the transfer, still on base.
But we won't see if the new program was going to work for him or not, which is unfortunate.
I was talking to some people about that today. A new way of doing things at his stage of his career, at this age that he's at right now.
Right.
A lot different from what he was used to and what he's excelled at over the last few years. 2-0 pitch. Two on, 2 out, runner at second. 2-2. Wind not a factor now. Flag's hanging straight down on the batter's eye. Pitch. Full count. Back to back full counts here. 2 outs. Three and two, 2 out, runner at second, a 7-3 A's lead. Nice job by Sam Moll, twice fielding his position. Last stops for the Mariners. Top of the order coming your way. 7-3 A's.
So I switched to CenturyLink Internet. It's great.
Ichiro and his return to Seattle. Earlier today, during a press conference, the former All-Star spoke about growing as a player and person during the last 5 years after getting traded from Seattle. He was asked to give an example.
2012, up to 2012, July, I was able to come to the ballpark knowing that I was in that starting lineup. I didn't have to look at the lineup. I knew that I was in there, and I had a routine. So I was able to come in, do my thing, and I was able to do that. But after 2012, when I went to New York, I had to go look at the lineup, and I didn't know if I was going to play that day. There were many, many experiences where I had no idea what was going to happen. There were experiences where I would be on the on-deck circle, and a left-handed pitcher would come in, and I would have to sit back down. There are many experiences where I struggled, and it was tough. It was tough experiences, but I was able to learn from those experiences, and I was able to adapt.
Interesting, guys, to hear him speak about those experiences, and I hate to use the word, but maybe even admit those experiences and how difficult they were.
Well, longevity has led him to this spot, so he's had a chance to have that happen to him.
That's exactly right. And if you consider the amount of time he spent in Seattle the first go-around, and the years that he put in, and understanding that the time he spent in Japan, most guys are done by the time he was in New York, and he's still going.
And happily done,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And he's still soldiering on and being productive.
It's amazing.
It really is.
But, with time, you're not going to be out there every day like he always had been with Seattle. So he's in a different place right now in his career.
It's a different mindset. He has a different mindset than anybody we've been associated with.
I would agree with that.
Kyle Finnegan, the pitcher. Zach Vinci, the hitter. He is going right after it.
97 on that last fastball.
And held on by the catcher, 2 down.
Second baseman,
Danny Munoz. Seven-3 A's lead. Ball 1. Danny Munoz, base hit. His second hit tonight. It's going to left field.
Bring up Mike Ford, hit the ball hard. His last time up, Luke Powell took extra bases away from him, sliding on the warning track out in right center field.
Two out, 1 on. Runners down 4. Down low. Second base taken by Muno. Indifference. Mike Ford joined us on broadcast earlier in the ball game, talking about his experiences here coming to this new ball club. Mariners coming over from the Yankee organization. 1-0.
Yeah, Rule 5 pickup. Talked about how through the minor leagues he had more walks than strikeouts, and that's the reason why he jumped out at them and decided to take a chance on them. Struggled early in camp, but lately he's been swinging the bat much better. Hit a home run over in Surprise the other day against the Rangers. It's a pinch hit home run.
Comebacker. That's going to do it for the ball game here tonight. Be back with you tomorrow. Giants will be in town tomorrow.
Marco Gonzalez again, 4 strong innings. He's really having a good spring. Robinson Cano, a couple of hits, including a home run. Unfortunately, tonight, 4 errors for the Mariners. You have to get that cleaned up before they get into tomorrow night's ball game.
We'll be with you at 5:30 tomorrow. Giants in town. For Mike Flowers and our entire Root Sports crew, I'm Dave Sims. So long, everybody, from Peoria, Arizona.